So happy to be here. I heard we tried to get Mo on the stream as well, but it turned out that the computer he was using was stolen.
Welcome back, everybody. The Chevy Equinox EV is what we're here to talk about. As your do-it-all SUV from your daily drives, weekend trips, and last-minute tee times. They're presenting this fantastic show today. We got some big quotes from Tiger Woods that we break down and get into. Obviously, we're quite excited about that. We've got a fantastic little segment with a couple special guests. Brad Dalke, Francis Ellis. They went very deep in the Internet Invitational all the way to the end with Frankie Borelli. So I imagine revisiting that is going to be quite lovely. It's all brought to you by Chevy, gentlemen.
Yep, Chevy, proud sponsor and partner of this show for many, many years and hopefully many years to come. Great show. Tiger Woods in the news, like you said, and I can't wait to hear from Francis and Dalke. Haven't really talked to them since the Internet Invitational. We've talked to Francis a bit when we did that video, Trent. That was like my first time seeing him since that 18th green at Paynes Valley. So it's going to be quite the trip down memory lane with the two guys that were on the winning side of one of the worst shots I've ever hit and one of the more, I guess, viral worst shots in the history of the game of golf. Just two real good golfers, competitors that just took it to me, and can't wait to hear from them.
It's a fantastic show, and we got PGA Tour potential format changes as well. We update everyone on the Barstool Classic. We got a new event kind of series that we're going to roll out. We're going to do, I think, 4 of them this year. So all that's brought to you by Chevy in this show. They present the podcast, have for years. We appreciate them for that. And we appreciate them for the Chevy Equinox SUV. It is your do-it-all SUV. It's got the big touchscreen, active trim. It's bold, athletic, confident style. The Equinox looks just as good at the course as it does off the map. They got hidden storage under the rear view floor, so you've got all kinds of room for storage. Once again, Chevy brings you this show. It's a lovely show today. The Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. It is February 19th, 2026, and the golf gods continue to deliver. I really appreciate them the last week or so. It's just been a phenomenal effort from the golf gods, giving us Anthony Kim, giving us Colin Morikawa, giving us the emotions of comebacks, of announcing children are on the way, and now, maybe the golf gods' greatest child, Tiger Woods, out of nowhere in this press conference. He's combing through PGA Tour schedules. Is he going to be a Ryder Cup captain? He gives his thoughts on Anthony Kim, and then out of the clouds, I think it might have been Rex Hoggard. It might have been Lavner. It might have been Todd Lewis. I can't remember who it was. One of those guys with just a perfect question who said, hey, Tiger Woods, I know you've spoken a little bit about your recovery. Tiger gave him nothing. Basically said, I'm injured. Willie Z was injured. When you're injured, you can't really do much. I'm able to hit full shots, but I'm not playing very well. And then they just kind of nailed it with, hey, Tiger, by the way, is the Masters out of the question? And he just said, nope, and then gave the most Tiger Woods little fucking shit-eating grin that I've ever seen. And that just changed everything, gentlemen.
Yeah, he's back. He honestly couldn't be more back. Without answering a question, Tiger Woods is absolutely playing in the Masters, which is incredible. Good for golf, good for us, good for everyone that listens to this podcast, good for anyone that's ever picked up a golf club. This guy is going to be competing again. He knows it. We all know it. There's something different about this comeback. He's been way more quiet about it. He's been way less public. There haven't been those little videos, through the trees at Charlie's golf tournaments of him holding the golf club and hitting drivers. There haven't been any previews. There haven't been any teasers. It's just been dead quiet, and he's been working. He's been absolutely working. His PR game is right up to where it always has been. Nothing's fallen off. This guy is as sharp as a tack. And I absolutely love it. I love to hear everything that he was saying yesterday, and full steam ahead, man. Engines are roaring, pedal to the metal.
Yeah, the answer got me very excited. I will say it came off as, watching the press conference, it came off as a bit of a stunning answer because, as Riggs alluded to, he compared himself to Will Zalatoris and that back injury, which, as we all know, has been a real struggle for Will Zalatoris. And Will is 21 years younger than Tiger Woods, and it seemed like Tiger has really been struggling with this latest procedure. And then the Masters question comes, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to compete in the Masters. So I'm full steam ahead with you guys, but I am a little bit worried about this latest back procedure because he seems to be struggling with it. I think the word he used was it's been challenging. But if he's going to play the Masters, I'll throw all that to the side and just be as excited as I've ever been.
Yeah, look, I just didn't see it coming. Like I said, it was it was just a very middle of the pack press conference. And there are some things we're going to get to because, like anything with Tiger, even when he doesn't really say much, he says something because he's got this incredible role where he's the chairman of the Future Competition Committee. Rolop is clearly like leaning on Tiger Woods, which is smart, to figure out the future of the PGA Tour. I want to go through a good amount of that because here, with my crew in Arizona and the Phoenix Open, there's been a lot of kind of talk over the last month about, is the tour going to go from 35 events to around 20 events? Are they going to kick off the entire PGA Tour season closer to Super Bowl week? Are they going to move the WM Phoenix Open from Super Bowl week to another time? Are they going to lead the entire year with the Phoenix Open, which there's a lot of chatter of, which would be kind of the PGA Tour's version of the Daytona 500, just coming out with a bang? So, like, Tiger addressed that. He addressed being the Ryder Cup captain. There's things that we are going to get to. But this, in terms of his comeback, he was mentioning how he'll never take a cart on the PGA Tour, which, we wish he would do. But that does open the door for him to play on the Champions Tour because he could take a cart out there. And then again, out of nowhere, I mean, the Masters is like tomorrow. It feels like it's coming up fucking out of nowhere. He's just like a very definitive no. The Masters is not off the table, which, we've done this song and dance before, and it's a great song and dance, man. I remember the video of that guy driving with people in his car, and Tiger Woods was hitting balls on the range at Augusta, and he just almost crashed into a tree to get a glimpse of Tiger Woods hitting balls at the Masters. So he's done this many times where he announces an injury the year before, maybe in the fall. He's not going to play the Hero. He's not, maybe he could play the PNC, and then he doesn't play at the beginning of the year, and then bang, the first time he emerges is at Augusta, which he's been doing that for a very long time. He's been doing that since 2010, really, where he disappeared from planet Earth for 5 months under very understandable circumstances. And then he likes to reemerge at Augusta for a lot of reasons. The Masters is the most prestigious event that we got. I think we all agree that, like, it's the biggest tournament you can win. It's the Masters. There's nothing like it in sports, let alone golf. But also, man, it's got the privacy element to it. You can't even get into that event with the cell phone. You can't, even if you're in the media, you can't walk around there with the cell phone unless you're like contracted to be a Snapchat person, like that one year who was that person on the 18th green. But you can't, when you go to the U.S. Open, there's like 50 people inside the ropes following Tiger's group. We're usually one of them. There's like nobody's allowed inside the ropes of the Masters. So it's just the perfect venue for Tiger to return at. Having said all that, I just didn't think he was going to be even close to ready. My brain hadn't registered that we might get to witness Tiger Woods playing in the Masters. And yeah, do I want to see Tiger play well? It would set everything up. It doesn't even fucking matter. He could shoot 85. He could shoot 65. Him just us being able to hang on for 4 hours to every moment of Tiger Woods at Augusta National is something I didn't know we would get this year. And now I'm very confident we're going to get it. And that's just fucking fantastic, man.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Also, I mean, I know we'll get to a lot of things he said, but did you guys see the country club adjacent guys asked him a couple of questions that made him literally laugh out loud?
I did, yeah.
So
Shout out
funny.
to those guys.
Yeah.
They're like, how do you just stay so unbelievably jacked? Because I wear the Sunday Red stuff and I just don't look like you. And he cracked up. Getting a laugh at a Tiger like that is that's the one you can hang your hat on. Like that's a career maker right there.
Yeah, he was like, Griff kept pushing him for the routine that he does.
Yeah.
And at one point, Tiger locked in and he said, it's discipline. It's all discipline. And it's like, all right, I guess that's the secret. It's not bicep curls, it's discipline.
That's the worst answer you can get to if you're trying to take it in any way seriously. Because it's like, that's the one thing none of us have is discipline. Right. I mean, nothing. We're looking for is it Ozempic? Is there like a shot you could get? Like, what do we do? Oh, shit.
I will say it was just in like a general takeaway from the press conference. He was in a great mood, and that's always good to see. He was, the word I would use is jovial. He was laughing. He was having a good time. Tiger Woods is a human being, if you believe that or not. He has mood swings, and he's in a good mood, he's in a bad mood. This time he was in a very good mood, and you get better stuff out of him when he's in a good mood. He'll throw a couple jokes in, but he will provide you with a lot of information, and we got a good amount of it during that press conference, I thought.
We did. I want to go through a good amount of it. Before we get to that, there are some administrative things that I want to get out of the way. We're going to have Mr. Brad Dalke and Mr. Francis Ellis on this show. Long time coming. It's going to be a nice little reunion. The Internet Invitational, we're almost at like the halfway point, or we kind of are at the halfway point from Internet Invitational commencing. And then, it's been about 6 months since it went off. It's only been 2 or 3 since it aired. But, after the Internet Invitational, or even while it was going on, pretty much every podcast, every group out there in some capacity had Brad Dalke on. A bunch had Francis Ellis, and a bunch of, Frankie was doing, Brendan Jones was doing, everybody's doing shows, because the Internet Invitational just kind of grabbed everybody. And, I was texted with Dalke really over the last month quite a bit, but especially about his battles with Grant Horvat, which I know we discussed a little bit recently on the show. But Dalke, winning that thing, being in the final, just gets you a ton of exposure, press all over the place. So I'm excited for that. I've got some family in town, so I'm going to miss it, but I think we got enough cooks in the kitchen for that one anyways, with you guys and those two coming on. So excited to hear that chat, but make sure you stay tuned for the second half of the show. Those guys will be on. Francis is always hilarious. So always excited to hear from him. So stay tuned for those guys coming on. The Biz video, we teased it on the last show, but good old Bizzy Balls. Biz is one of the best people in sports media, and he's now one of like the highest profile people in sports media, especially in the Barstool world and the hockey world. If you don't know Biz, you've been like hiding, or you're about to be awakened to something brilliant, because he's a phenomenal vibes, great attitude, one of the nicest people on the planet, and he's just the man. And you guys filmed with him during the Phoenix Open.
Yeah, just an absolute crazy energy on the golf course. I mean, he offered us mushrooms on the first tee box, and like the whole entire video is a trip down memory lane with an insane amount of callbacks and flashbacks. If you're a Barstool fan, if you're a Spittin' Chicklets fan, this one has it all. So it's not just a crazy new golf match that we came up with, which we called Bizzy Balls, but it really is just a well done kind of like mini documentary on our stories and like where we came from. It's awesome. So Kyle Tim's on the edit, and Jared kind of splitting it up, and Brendan finishing it up. Like they were saying that it's a really, really good video, and they're super proud of it. And hopefully everyone just goes and watches it. We've been seeing that a lot of our stuff has been like not getting off to like a hot start in the beginning. I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know if it's the cursing or whatever it might be, but there's something going on with our YouTube page. So go give the boys some love and make sure that thing gets where it's supposed to be. Cause it's been like a slow build over the last 2 or 3 videos, which has been weird. So, but Biz is just the man. There's a reason why everything he's a part of, like they signed him to like the NHL and TNT, like said the only reason they did that show and the only reason Wayne Gretzky's on is because of Biz, and now they just signed him to a longer extension. The guy is the voice of the NHL. Anything he's a part of is successful, and just like they want him there forever.
Yeah, I mean, I've been aware of Biz, obviously, in the Barstool world, but I'd never gotten to spend much time with him. We've been at different events together, and we sort of see each other in passing, and we talk a little bit. This is my first opportunity to sit in a cart with him for 18 holes, and I asked him a lot of questions, because you guys are the hockey guys on this show. You guys know a lot about him. I just know the Barstool side of it, so I was just lobbing questions at him. Like, I want to know where he came from, where he got his start, how like how his career went, and then how he ended up in media and the TNT deal. So I was sort of like a viewer who was in the cart with him, because I just wanted to learn a lot about him, and he's just like the nicest, coolest, most chill guy out there. So, and then with the Bizzy Balls aspect, which is something we came up with, I think people are going to love it. Just go check it out on our YouTube channel. It's a very good video. It's an easy watch. It's a fun watch, and we had a really good time doing it.
Dude, me and my buddies were sharing Biz Nasty tweets with each other 3 years before I even got hired at Barstool. Maybe more. Like, I mean, he was like well known in the hockey world for popping off on Twitter when that wasn't even really a thing yet. Like in 20 13, maybe 20. I don't know the exact date, but like 13 years ago. I mean, no joke, for him to now be like technically a coworker and we work at the same company is almost mythical for me, because he was like the first guy from a media standpoint to sort of like transcend hockey culture and hockey humor, which like is why the Chicklets guys are so unbelievably big, famous, successful. All that now is like they brought that. It's hard to have that come out in a broadcast if you're announcing a hockey game, whatever. The podcast is the perfect forum. That's why Wit and Biz and Yandel, that's why they're so fucking funny. But like Biz was the first guy to really do that in a media setting, and it was Twitter. And he would do some interviews. I saw them resurfacing a few of his interviews over the last couple of days when he was like still playing hockey professionally, and he's out there and he was like shouting out porn stars that follow him and stuff like that. He's just hilarious, dude. And so yeah, if you're into hockey at all, he's been doing this for a very long time. Had been a well-known guy. Like he was one of the more well-known guys on the internet in the hockey world when he was playing minor league hockey, and he wasn't even one. He was like a fourth liner in minor league hockey and a fighter and stuff. So he's been doing it for a long time, and to see where he's at now, insanely well deserved. So he's the best. Make sure you go check out the Biz video with these fellas. Update on the Barstool Classic. I've seen quite a few tweets. This is usually within the last couple of weeks. I would say is usually around the time that we announce the lineup and the tour dates, if you want to call it, for the Barstool Classic. We haven't done that yet. So I figured we would just address it. It's coming in the next couple of weeks. You're going to see the full schedule. A few reasons for that. The main one is a format change. I know we discussed it briefly towards the end of last year. I think we kind of talked about it very vaguely. We weren't really sure. But what we're doing this year, it's not a massive format change, but from week to week, it's going to be a pretty big change for us. Instead of doing like 25 different cities, we're doing 10 different stops with 2 stops at each one and a party in between. And we're trying to kind of elevate the experience per person at each stop. And the reason that we're kind of doing that is twofold. One, it's going to be year 8. So I think just kind of changing things up in general is very nice. It's very fun. You always kind of need to look at what could be better. Kind of in line with that is our travel schedule. As folks know, I think Trent took over 100 flights last year. I think Frankie and I took around 90 flights last year. Our producers around 100 flights. It's a lot. And so trying to be at every event and be more present at every event while not having to take as many flights overall is kind of the goal. And I think this is going to make that much more doable. So if we go to 10 different places, and instead of us flying in late the night before and then trying to catch a 5 p.m. flight out that day, we're not quite as present. We don't get to hang around as long with everybody. We don't engage with everybody as much. We check the feedback. We see the surveys afterwards, which our events team does a great job of, and people want to spend more time with us. It's a big part of the reason that you guys buy tickets, and we appreciate the hell out of that. This is going to make it a lot more doable for us to just hunker down, be there for 3 days, spend time all day on, let's say, Monday night. We do a big party where everybody from Monday and Tuesday's event gets to be there. It might be a closest to the pin contest at the golf course. If we're in Boston, we might go to a cool spot on the pier and do a hangout for 3 or 4 hours and watch, a hockey game that night or whatever the hell's going on. In the summertime, it might be some golf. Who knows what's going on? But point being, we thought it would be cooler for us to really lock in on an event being a fun 2-day event with a party in between. We can really mingle with people. We can have drinks with folks instead of the 3 of us and everybody from our events team, everybody from our production team flying in and out constantly. It just made it tougher for us to give to all of our fans, the nearly 3,000 golfers that show up, kind of like everything that we should give. And it felt a little bit like more of a broken day than it could be, whereas I think this will allow both days of the events to be full-on experiences without us having to take quite as many flights. And so that was kind of the purpose of the whole thing.
I mean, I would say more so like our side of it, I would say the crux of why we're restructuring it is for the players. Also, just like getting a really, really high quality 10 city, as good of a golf courses as we can get lineup. It's just it's way more doable for the whole entire tour to lock in on these 10 cities and make those as big as humanly possible. From our production side, from the company that goes and sets up the Barstool Classic, from the signage, from the things that we're going to be putting on the par 3 holes. Like, this is just better for the players in every aspect. Like, our side, of course, it's going to be like easier for us to be flying, whatever. I don't think like a lot of the people are going to be caring about our schedules. We've got the best jobs in the world. Like, I don't care. Like, they're probably like fucking fly everywhere. But like, I'm telling you, these golf courses, man, I don't want to start like rattling them off, but because we haven't locked down the schedule, we haven't made the graphic yet, but really, really unbelievable stuff. You go through 1 through 10 in terms of the cities, and it's amazing where we've come from. That first Barstool Classic here, what was there, like 6 events or something like that? And was there even
8.
6 events? There's 6, yeah. Where it's come from there is just phenomenal. So the party aspect is huge. We're picking big cities with really good venues. So I'm excited. It's definitely reinvigorating, or reigniting that fire behind the Barstool Classic. So with new sponsors coming on board as well, it's just really exciting stuff. The Barstool Classic chat's been popping off, which it hasn't been in years. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's really successful, and we're just gonna go do it again, and we're gonna go to all these same cities, and maybe we'll pick 1 or 2. Not the case this year. Totally reimagined. Can't wait. Really can't wait.
Yeah, and the last part of that I was going to say is that we got a new title sponsor this year. So I didn't want to like go the 7 years and not really mention Truly. So folks know, like, when we came up with the idea of the Barstool Classic, Truly came on for an annual title sponsor of 7 figures without having ever seen a single event. Not one. It was just on paper. It was just in a meeting. It was just sort of an idea. And Truly coming in and buying in, not just for the first year, but year over year, coming on for 7 years, 7 years in a row, being the title sponsor, allowing the Classic to be what it's become. But we just owe them an enormous, enormous thank you. Just some of the biggest supporters of what we've done and helped us get really this entire business, entire operation where we have the coolest jobs in the world. And we get to share those experiences with, again, almost 3,000 golfers a year, was supported enormously by Truly. And a lot of it was a leap of faith in the beginning when they didn't know what the hell they were going to get. Like Frankie just mentioned, it was 8 events. I think almost every single person that works on the Barstool Classic now didn't even work at Barstool Sports at the time. I don't think so. It was just a wildly different operation. And it really has meant the world to us that they came on, Truly and Boston Beer, just big time supporters of us over many, many years. And so another part of just sort of, I guess the delay, if you'll call it that, is ironing out the sponsorships, who are going to be the supporters of the event going forward. I think people are going to be very excited. I know I'm very excited. There are still ties to the origins of the Barstool Classic when it comes to who our partners are. So all that's going to come in the next few weeks in terms of announcing the schedule, announcing who's behind the whole thing. But I would be remiss if I didn't give a huge thank you to Truly Hard Seltzer over the years for supporting the Barstool Classic. They were just fucking awesome to deal with, awesome supporters of the entire event. And if it weren't for them, the Barstool Classic wouldn't be a fraction of what it is now. So a big thanks to Truly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge.
It's been great. I mean, Truly and Barstool and Truly and Foreplay and specifically the Barstool Classic was definitely synonymous. When you thought about the Barstool Classic, thought about Truly's, and that rise kind of happened together. So yeah, I mean, that was a ton of years to be together. And like you said, the switch and the new sponsor, definitely, it's not too much of a switch. So when people see the title sponsor, they'll understand where it all kind of came from. And I think people are going to love it. I think the new vibe is going to be great. And I cannot wait. I absolutely love where we're going with this too. Like personally.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. People are going to be fired up. And yeah, so just updating on the Barstool Classic again. I know probably 10, 15,000 unique golfers have played in the Barstool Classic over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of folks sitting there waiting, ready to go for the year. They want to book out their plans and all of that. So that's coming next couple of weeks. We will roll out updates and we'll get that schedule out. Then we'll get registration out and then we'll be ready to rock. And we're very pumped throughout the year. I can't wait for a bunch of these trips to really make a full trip out of it, to get there, lock in on cities and be around with folks for 2 or 3 days. It's going to be fantastic. And then last thing I got is we are announcing kind of a new series of events, which is our hole-in-one challenge. So folks know a hole-in-one always been a very big part of this show. It's one of the most talked about from the gallery segments ever. There's all kinds of different scenarios. Does this count as a hole-in-one? Does that count as a hole-in-one? We had Neil Shipley on the show last week. He got the first ever hole-in-one in TGL history, live on television, ESPN in front of thousands of people. Millions of people saw the clip overall. Does that count? People love hole-in-ones, man. It's probably for pretty much every golfer, unless you're a legitimate competitive golfer, which is like a couple hundred people on planet Earth. Everyone else, about the biggest accomplishment you could have in the game is, do you get a hole-in-one or not? This channel is like the only channel in the history of internet golf that's never gotten a hole-in-one. Everybody, they're getting them left and right. They're Oprah Winfrey handing them out. You get a hole-in-one. You get a hole-in-one. Nope, Foreplay doesn't get a hole-in-one. So we love going to the biggest events of the year. The Players' Championship is the first one. But what we are doing is we're bringing the fans in, okay, at, I think, 4 different of the biggest events of the year. The Players' Championship, a couple major championships. We're going to go at night. We are going to have, and I'm looking at this, Brendan Jones just sent me all the details. We're going to have an on-site food truck. We're going to have a live DJ and entertainment. We're going to have complimentary Barstool merch items, awesome golf experience, and we are going to have a $10,000 prize if you make a hole-in-one. You're going to go up there. Each person gets about a minute. We're going to have everybody surrounding that tee box. Again, we're going to have drinks, a bar, DJ, live footage, and we're going to kick it off at the Players' Championship. I believe it's Wednesday night at the Players' Championship, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. That's March 11th. We're going to try to get our asses a hole-in-one coverage. Producers are going to be there, cell phones, video cameras, the internet, all kinds of it. And hopefully somebody gets a goddamn hole-in-one, because we just can't do it without other people.
Yeah, this is something that we've really wanted to do for a long time. Obviously, we have the Barstool Classic, which you go out there, you play, you compete. If you win, you get to go to the championship at Greyhawk, the whole entire deal. That's a chance to win money playing competitive golf. Everyone gets so hyped up and real excited around these big events, especially the Players, which is our first one. They're in town. They're like looking for something to do. We, as just the media and like on our side, we're always looking for something to do as well. Like, what's the big event in town? Is there a concert? Is there something to do at a bar? Is there whatever? What's the best restaurant? We're constantly trying to find something to do when we're there Monday through Sunday. A lot of people get in on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They go to a practice round. They go to the first round of the tournament. So we figured out what's the best way for us to get everyone together and make it competitive. We found out that, like you just said, you just laid it out perfectly. That night golf, we are completely taking over a par 3, turning it into that bar club atmosphere with DJs, music, and then that 1 minute you get, it's like you could have the strategy. Am I going to put 20 balls next to me and just go rapid fire and try and rattle off as many shots as I possibly can at this hole? Or do I go one at a time, really take my time, see how many shots I can get off in a minute? You make that hole-in-one, you're walking away with $10,000. And if 10 people make a hole-in-one, they're all walking away with $10,000. It's going to be a hell of an event. If you make it, you're going to go crazy on the internet. The place is going to go absolutely berserk. We're going to be running into the green. We're going to be going crazy, champagneing all the drinks on you. It's going to be absolutely nuts, and I can't wait. So please, what's the location that we're doing it here in Jacksonville for the Players'
We've
Championship?
got the Yard.
The Yard,
Okay.
which is one of the best, short
Awesome.
executive courses that we have in the country. It's right there next to TPC Sawgrass. We played Adam Scott at the Yards. We've done a bunch of different stuff at the Yards. People love the Yards. Cam Smith was like famously playing the Yards while the Players' Championship was going on. Remember that? Like, he was like out there with his buddies. It is an awesome location. I've seen the renderings. I actually drew what I thought the rendering of a hole should be like a year ago, and I sent it to our production team and our on-site live events team, and they made it happen. Like, we've got When you step up to that tee, we've got neon lights, we've got laser beams facing towards the green, we've got huge signage that looks like a baseball, like the green monster going around the hole, where it's going to say hole in one. So you're gonna be able to pull out your phone, you're gonna be able to film yourself playing in this, like, you know, this TGL looking ridiculous, like out of the world, because like it's gonna be a very, very cool visual. It's going to be just a real great night, and I'm real excited to see how it goes off. Now, listen, the Barstool difference might be that it's going to look like a fire fest or something. You know, we're going to get there. There's going to be balls flying everywhere. No one's going to come close to hole in one. But that's what we don't know how it's going to go. I'm thinking it's going to be one of the best events we've ever put on. So please, you know, send it to your buddies if you're going to be in town, and let's get you there. And I can't wait for this one to go off. This is something that we really want to go well.
I really need somebody to make a hole in one. That would be scenes, as the kids say. People will be going crazy. So come out, give it a shot, and it could be you. Who knows?
Could be you. I'm very excited.
It's going to
be
you.
It's just going to be fun, man. It should be a really good time to get everybody together at the big events. People are there already anyways, and might as well try to get a hole-in-one out of it. Friday at noon, we are going live with the Players Championship Wednesday night hole-in-one event with foreplay. So that is Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We got the Eventbrite link out there. I'm actually on the link right now. It's very simple. But come join us Wednesday night at the Yards, about 3 hours, 6:30 to 9:30. After you go to the Players that day, after you work pretty hard, make sure you sign up Friday at noon Eastern. You're a grown man making better decisions about what you put in your body. Are you paying attention to what goes on your body? Everyman Jack. I used this morning. I took a nice shower. I've got their body wash. It's Mountain Air, I think, is the flavor that I got. Mountain Air, the scent, if you want to call it that. They've got coconut-based body wash, which cleans while hydrating. Their new 48-hour antiperspirant has unbelievable glide and staying power. I use that as well. Here's the thing. Using grooming products with harsh chemicals is like washing your car with dish soap. Sure, it gets the job done, but you're stripping away the protection and doing long-term damage. Most guys think they have to choose between either products that work or products that are better for you. Everyman Jack says that is complete BS. They're clean, naturally derived formulas, have none of the garbage the other guys use, no parabens, no dyes, no shortcuts, and they're incredibly effective.
Yeah, I mean, your skin absorbs things. You put it on there and it just goes right into your body. So if you are putting bad things, if you're putting harsh chemicals in there, it is going to have a negative effect. This stuff, the body wash, the shampoo, all of it, it's clean, it's good for you, it's not going to harm you. This is the way to go. Start now. Probably your whole life have been putting bad chemicals on your body. With Everyman Jack, just start right now, and it's going to be a better thing for you. I promise.
That's right, Trent.
It's really good stuff. Really good stuff. I can't tell you how just fresh it felt this morning, knowing that it's got none of the bad crap in it, knowing that it's good for your skin. It also made me clean, smell good, the whole deal. Everyman Jack, clean, effective, made for men. What more could you want? Start your new routine and find Everyman Jack at Walmart, Target, Amazon, Kroger, or wherever men's personal care products are sold. The Three Stripes, it's iconic. We love them. We partnered up with them. They support us big time. And we partnered up with them so much that we teamed up to put a fresh spin on one of the most iconic silhouettes in footwear, bringing it to life as the official shoe of the People's Open just recently. This is a limited edition colorway built specifically for this moment. The shoe is still available in limited quantities at adidas.com, barstoolsports.com, PGA Tour, superstore.com, and you can check them out at PGA Tour Superstores as well. The shoes came out great. The Sambas, they're awesome. They're customized, but still look really cool. You can wear them really anywhere. The Mency ones, I think some people were calling them, so you might recall them from that. But just a fantastic shoe and a fantastic partner in Adidas Golf.
Yeah, the reaction was amazing. I mean, they sold like crazy, and they are still available in limited quantities on those websites. So make sure you go check them out. These are collector's items at this point. I mean, the inside is all customized for the 16th hole. You've got the bottom that's very customized with all the different colors from the Phoenix Open. So it's a really, really cool shoe. It's great for the golf course, as Bincy said. Just be a part of history, really. This shoe is a historical shoe in the Barstool Sports story. Partnering with Adidas is nothing to sneeze at. That's a big deal, throwing our logos on a Samba, because Samba is one of the most successful selling shoe of all time. So for them to put their trust in us, throwing a Barstool logo on there is pretty incredible. So make sure you go check it out and get yourself a pair.
That is, you can go to adidas.com/foreplaypod. That is adidas.com/foreplaypod. Barstoolsports.com has them. PGA Tour Superstore.com. And you can also go into a PGA Tour Superstore and check out, because there are limited edition and there are limited quantities available. PGA Tour. I want to talk about some schedule changes, see what you guys think about this. Tiger said this could happen as early as next year, which is, 2027. I can't believe it's 2026 already, but 2027. He said we would like to have it happen in 2027. We may have to roll it out over a couple year period. He said we may not be able to implement all of it in 2027, but there will definitely be parts of it integrated or changed from what it is now in 2026 into 2027. Now, a lot of the theory here is that, if you heard, I think Rory was talking about it last week, where he was saying, the NFL, they were like, Rory, are you into the Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl? And his reaction was like, look, I've tried to get into American football. I'm not overly into it, but from a marketing standpoint, it's absolutely genius. He talked about how the season, NFL season, is relatively short. It's very short. He said, but they sort of like drip hook you, where it's like they've got the NFL season and it culminates with the Super Bowl. And then, there's like free agency, and then there's the draft, and then there's preseason. He's like, it never ends, where the NFL, like once a month, even when they're not in season, they drag you in. And he was like, we could learn a lot from that with football. Obviously, Brian Roloff is coming from the NFL. And so the PGA Tour, which we've talked about this many different times, but the PGA Tour is oversaturated. They do 35 events. Some years they've gotten up to 40-something events on the PGA Tour. I looked it up this year, 2026 FedEx Cup. There's 35 official events on the season. 35. That's 35 weeks of the year. And you just kind of, it drags on. There's events that don't have much pop. I would say most of the events don't have much pop. And so if they are really going to try to reconfigure and think about that, is it like too late? Have it right? Has it like reached this point where you can't really go back? It would take a bold effort to go back. It sounds like they want to do that. I know a lot of folks are thinking the Hawaiian swing will be out. They're just going to get rid of the Sony. They already kind of got rid of the Century. Like, it just didn't happen this year. I know there was a drought in the course and all that, but it didn't happen this year. And then I believe like Farmers maybe announced that they're not going to be the title sponsor going forward of Torrey Pines. So that would be a pretty easy one to eliminate. So a lot of the thinking and some of the thinking around town here is that fortnight in between championship weekend in the NFL and Super Bowl weekend in the NFL, there's been whispers around town that the PGA Tour wants to move the WM Phoenix Open from Super Bowl weekend, so it's not going up against the Super Bowl, to that weekend in between, and have that be the very first PGA Tour event of the entire year. What would you guys think about that?
I love it. I don't think that really any tournament prior to the Waste Management feels like the first event anyway. Like, it all feels like kind of preview play or like preseason, like it's definitely the guys are out there and you're watching them on your TV, but nothing actually feels as meaningful as when the Waste Management kicks off. That it's the beginning of the PGA Tour season. You've got the Waste Management. You've got all these big tournaments coming up in the near future. So, I think that's fine. I think the thing that's interesting to me is like people are still paying attention to the Waste Management even with the other events out there. So, like, what would the players want? Do the players want those events to be able to go to and warm up and all of that stuff and like kind of ease into their season as opposed to like just starting it with a bang like that? I mean, I don't know how they would. What the consensus amongst the PGA Tour players would be.
Yeah, I guess the counter to that would be like, if you're telling all these other events that you're kind of a warm up before anything real, then you're telling them that their events are kind of dog shit,
Yeah.
It's like, so, but you're right. Like it is a bold move to be like, okay, we haven't watched golf really, right? Like there's a fall series. It's always going to be a little bit of a fall series, no matter what that turns into. There's been people have, theorized that it could be live partners with the tour on some level, and they do a team thing in the fall. Currently, there's a fall series, always going to be a fall series. But for a lot of guys, a lot of the top guys, like they don't really play from East Lake until the beginning of the season. They do.
Right.
You maybe saw them come out and they did Napa as like a team building exercise before the Ryder Cup. But, I think it was it Xander who had a kid and like really didn't play a PGA Tour event, a tournament from like East Lake, or he even qualified for East Lake. I think he played like the BMW and then he played again at like Amex or something. That's like,
right.
That's like 5 months without playing golf. So I do think like there is that part of sports that you like yearn for these guys coming back and watching them play, and you need to be like hungry for it a little bit versus having them kind of like come out every couple of weeks, and some of the events feel like they don't really matter. Maybe 6 or 7 throughout the year feel like they really, really matter. It's a bold move to make because I'm sure they got to go tell in this instance, say they go to 22 events, they got to tell like 13 title sponsors, see you later. Are they going to wrap them up in other events? Or they got to do something. I don't know how the hell they're going to do that. They got to tell those cities, see you later, right? They got to tell like 13 places that there's a big ecosystem that PGA Tour brings. I mean, I know obviously the event out here in Phoenix is the biggest one, but it's like a 450 or 500,000 or 450 or 500 million dollar economic impact in Scottsdale from all the flights, hotels, restaurants, tickets, revenue at the event, all of that. It's not that big for all these other places, but it's something. I mean, it definitely matters when these tour events go to these towns. So you're going to kind of rip them out of those places. I guess you got to rip the Band-Aid off. That's kind of the move if you're going to try to perfect the tour and get everybody playing together more often and make each event feel bigger. But it's kind of a bold move, man.
Right. Somebody's going to get hurt. There's some side of this where it's a negative, because where we're looking at it as a viewer and for the top players in the world, it's a positive, full stop. Like you get bigger, you get less events, but they mean more. The top players play less. They like to go to these places that they're going. But like you're saying, there is a side of this where you're just completely losing 10 to 12 tournaments. And I do think overall that's better for the PGA Tour, as Rory alluded to. Like that is what you need. You need less, not more, where tournaments don't feel like you're just like, oh, they're there this week, and I'm not even really paying attention to that. I'm just very curious to know like who's making those phone calls and like what are those going to sound like, and are there unintentional consequences for that we're not seeing? I don't see them right now, but getting rid of like a third of your schedule, there has to be a negative in there. And I just don't know what that looks like down the road.
Yeah, no, it's hard for a lot of people. I think there's a lot of categories that this is a negative for. I think the only positive is for the PGA Tour. I mean, I don't necessarily know that the fans are like I said before, waste management is the waste management, regardless of if these guys played at the Sony 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior, or if they played at the Amex. Like you're still getting up for that big event and you're still going to watch it. The numbers are proving it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's for making these events for the tour as valuable as possible and as lucrative as possible. The other ones are not making as much money and they put a lot of resources and effort into them. But like for the actual viewer, I don't know that this really moves the needle. It's like, oh, like they haven't played extra weeks, so now I care more now. It's like, makes no sense. If anything, more events leading in would create, the only like pro would be like it would create more of a storyline of a guy maybe 1-2 events going into the waste management, and like now he's like the hottest golfer in the world, or you know what I mean? There's only like positives in terms of the viewing of golf, of guys playing leading up to it. I don't necessarily know that we're all like, because I haven't watched golf, I'm going to watch this one even more.
Yeah, but you don't think like when something is missing that it makes you more interested in it versus when you're getting too much of it, you just get kind of like numb to it almost, or not
but
as
are we
interested
getting too
in
much of it, or is it like, I don't know, like the NFL is the biggest thing in the world and they have like preseason games that they just put on TV and everyone just kind of like watches those and they still get up for each game.
Yeah, but there's kind of the theory that like spring football like doesn't work. Right? Like by that theory, you would think that like people want so much football that the ratings must be through the roof. Whereas I think it was like Brian Harmon on the show that talked about that. Like no like no XFL and all that stuff that's tried to capture the rest of the year on football has ever worked because people.
Well,
and I don't know what the
those are,
reason
like,
is for that, but
non-NFL, yeah.
I think the reason they're trying to avoid football. We're talking a lot about football. They're trying to get away from football. And like, I mean, they're talking about doing the weekend in between the championship weekend and the Super Bowl. Now, like Frankie said, it was on the same Sunday this year and it got huge numbers. But I think overall, when football is so huge and popular in America, that anything else going on gets less eyeballs. That's just a fact. So all of this stuff that is before the Waste Management and before the Super Bowl is going on during a time when there is American football going on. Yeah. And if you look at every other league, they're just trying to avoid it. They're like, stay away from football because you cannot beat it. There's only a limited number of eyeballs, and I mean, especially in 2026, all the eyeballs are going in all these different directions, but football still gets a ton of them. And if you're golf, you're like, there's really no reason for us to be going while football's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the move. I think it definitely creates something. It's just, I'm trying to think of like who it benefits the most. And it's really just like the tour and those top players. I definitely think that there's a lot of guys that miss out on this, you know, or miss out because of this move. You know, you're taking away a ton of events that guys can make points in and they can make a ton of money in. So it's going to be a pretty harsh decision if they end up deciding this for a lot of guys on tour.
My question is, and I don't have the answer to this, but how much money does the PGA Tour make on each tournament? Like, are they giving up a bunch of money by slicing off 10 to 12 tournaments? There has to be some sort of bottom line where they're losing money, which is not something a league normally does. So there's got to be a reason for that. But like the NFL or the NBA or the MLB, like these schedules are still the same number they were when we were kids. And for the NFL, it's grown. They're trying to add events and trying to get more money. I'm just curious how much the PGA Tour is losing when they, just like on a bottom line aspect, when they cancel or whatever with the 10 to 12 tournaments. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I know, like the tour, I believe, only owns a handful of events. I think they own, here's the events that they own. And I actually saw, this was a great article that Sean Zach just wrote yesterday on golf.com. But the tour only owns Players Championship, Tour Championship, President's Cup, FedEx St. Jude Championship, the Century, Truist Championship, the Bay Current Classic, which is an October event, the Cognizant Classic, which is the former Honda Classic, the Cadillac Championship, which is kind of like new, returning event, and the Biltmore Championship, which is in September. A couple of those, I don't even really know what those are.
It is so funny. The more we learn about the PGA Tour and golf, they don't own the big events, any of them. Even like you're saying, like I mean, obviously they don't own the majors. The Players is the big one, and we're like, wow, that's the one. But even the big ones on tour, it sounds like they don't have ownership of. It's such a strange tour, the way it all operates. It's like the NBA or MLB not owning baseball games or basketball games. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah. Right. I know. No, look, Frankie, it is very interesting calculations, and I don't really know, but it's like if you're going to cut, a third of your events or whatever it is, you would think that all those title sponsors, all that TV money, all of it that goes in is going to hurt your bottom line. And there's got to be some pretty good evidence that, like, over time, boosting up the 20 or 22 events that you're going to have and focus on is going to make your tour stronger and more profitable. But that, that could backfire, it feels like, pretty easily. Like, I don't know that that's a guarantee. And yeah, it's not even that it's, I guess the main thing is, and I saw this phrase a few times. I think Tiger might have used it yesterday too, but like they want to own the summer, which I think is smart. It's like they want to own the time when football doesn't exist. Basically, it's like what they need to do. To the point where I think it was like, wasn't even the World Series over the last couple of years that like just wouldn't play games on days when when the NFL was going on. They would just basically play like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday because they didn't want to go up against the NFL. So that makes sense. So like the PGA Tour, it's like go up against they've already shrunk the end of the season from 4 playoff events to 3 to make sure they don't go up against the NFL when it starts. So why not shrink it on the other end and then focus on what they've got? But yeah, it's a hell of a bold move. I think the top players only play around that number of events anyways. They play around 20 or 22 events. They're not playing 35 events. I think it was only the Prince, who was Sung J M, I think played like 35 events one year, a couple of years ago, but nobody else plays that many. So if you get them all playing just the same events, it's better. But it makes it harder, right, for the folks on the fringe. It makes it harder for the Joel Damons of the world and the other dozens of people that are in Joel Damon's seat to kind of like keep their card and try to emerge from the pack if you've got just the same traveling troupe going to different events. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes down. Tiger says they want to kind of roll it out next year and the year after. I do think it'd be pretty damn cool to have like their version of the Daytona 500 where the beginning of the year is what is the biggest event on the PGA Tour, which you're just kicking it off right away. You've got hundreds of thousands of fans and the party that is the Phoenix Open. It's like, oh my God, I imagine you'd have everybody here. We had a lot of people here this year at the event, which is great, Scotty. But if you had Scotty, Rory, Tommy, you've got all the big JT, every name was here for the Phoenix Open. I think that would probably help the event and like get the tour pop. But anyways, we'll see. The other thing is the Ryder Cup captaincy. Tiger response about being the Ryder Cup captain. He said, they have asked me for my input on it, and I haven't made my decision yet. I'm trying to figure out what we're trying to do with our tour. That's been driving me hours upon hours every day and trying to figure out if I can actually do our Team USA and our players and everyone that's going to be involved in the Ryder Cup, if I could do it justice with my time. Serving on 2 boards and what I'm doing for the PGA Tour, I'm trying to figure out if I can actually do this and serve the people that are involved and serve them at an honorable level. I can't tell if that's like a negotiating tactic from Tiger Woods. I would think that like he knows if he wants to be Ryder Cup captain or not at this point. I can't imagine he's in like limbo. I think that the JP McManus guy who owns Adair Manor, where they're doing the Ryder Cup next year, is like Tiger's buddy. He's like his boy. If people remember, before the Open Championship every year, like 2 weeks before, he flies over there early and plays in the guy's pro-am. So we talked a year ago about how Tiger, it made sense that Tiger would pass up the Bethpage Ryder Cup captaincy if he was offered it, which I'm sure that he was, even though he doesn't admit it, because he wanted to save it for like being the U.S. Ryder Cup captain for his boy JP McManus to make his Ryder Cup event even bigger. So all of those factors going into it, maybe Tiger is just not sure if he has the time commitment, but I'd be kind of surprised at this point if he's not the Ryder Cup captain.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, but as we've talked about since the Ryder Cup, and we've been debriefing what went wrong, we've realized that what the European team does is they have it become a full-time job, being a captain and being on that coaching team for the European team. Is like, it's not just that week. It's not just the weeks leading up. They're working through it right now. They're looking at data. They're sending it to their team. If Tiger Woods is going to be that captain, especially after losing a home Ryder Cup, you're going to have to be so dialed in, making sure that you are the guy. So there's a lot going on in his life. I mean, he probably wants to keep playing golf as well. He's mentioning that. He's mentioning the Champions Tour. He's mentioning all these different things. You throw in a must-win Ryder Cup so that you're not losing multiple Ryder Cups in a row. It's a lot to ask of him. I think that he definitely would want to do it if he could. Like you said, it's a place that he wants to be a captain at, and it'd be a great story that Tiger Woods took over this Ryder Cup team and we won an away Ryder Cup to bring it back, and like now we get all the momentum. That'd be an unbelievable notch on Tiger's belt. But I don't know, man. I still feel that it should be Keegan Bradley. I know that's an unbelievably unpopular take. That. I just think that consistency is something that we need. He already has a plan in place. I know it was a losing plan, but like they dominated singles. They have to make some adjustments. We looked at all the data. They were like hitting more greens. They were hitting more fairways. They had a good team. They just missed putts. Like, you just take that pucks on net mentality. You bring that to Adair Manor and you say, hey, like now we have 2 more years worth of data and like working. We have a system. We've got all the chats going. We've got a team. Let's just keep this going. You're allowed to lose games as a team. It's just like, it's about how you respond. You can't lose every game you play. You got to start winning. But like, you're allowed to go out and lose one. Let's just try and go get a win. So the problem is with switching every single time, you're also then allowed to lose one. It's like, that's that guy's first time losing. You're going to keep losing. You know what I mean? Give a guy a chance to win one. Can we finally just accept a loss and then try and let that guy win one? And if he loses again, then he's the worst Ryder Cup captain of all time. But like, give him a shot.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's not an aura position. It's not a position where you walk in and you're like, I'm Tiger Woods, so now we're going to win the Ryder Cup. I'm Team USA.
Which is
captain.
how we treat it. Which is how it feels like we treat it.
Exactly. And so that's what I think, putting Tiger in that position. And it does sound like, if you read between the lines, it just sounds like they offered it to him and he's like, I'm busy shuffling papers around on my desk with this PGA Tour stuff. Like he sounds like the busy. We think
George
Tiger's just hanging around like hitting wedge shots. He sounds
busy.
like the busiest fucking guy on. He's like, I'm on 2
Hours.
boards trying to run the tour. There were times when I was watching that press conference of his where I was like, I might be looking at the PGA Tour commissioner. Like he's clearly being leaned on so heavily that he might be just in that room making decisions. I don't know, but I don't think him as the Ryder Cup captain is a good idea. I fully align with Frankie. I think you can lose one and you should have the opportunity to bounce back, because we do treat it like an aura position. You're supposed to walk in there and be like, I'm Tiger Woods. I got the most aura of all time in terms of the game of golf. So now go win me a Ryder Cup. I don't think that's how it works.
The unfortunate reality is, if Tiger Woods was our captain, other people on his team would be making the decisions for most of the time, aside from Tiger Woods. It's like,
that's right,
the presidency, where you elect someone and no one realizes it's like everyone else making the decisions, whether it be like on the cabinet or in the House or in the Senate. There's all these people that are not as public facing that are the ones that are just making decisions. I've been watching The West Wing. You got the guy Leo making more decisions than you got the president. Like,
Leo's great.
Yeah, he's great, but like, he's sitting down in the situation room making calls while the president's like dealing with like some freaking illness. Like, Tiger Woods wouldn't be as present as a guy like Keegan Bradley, who's already been in the mix, who already knows the system. He's got a system in place. Yes, it was a losing one, but like, let's let this guy back. I'll keep going on circles, but I just think, and I think he kind of mentioned that in his interview. He's like, I don't know that I can really commit to all of that stuff. So one day he's going to have to just have that clarity to be able to make that decision. It's going to be a tough one for him to probably pass up, but I do think the right decision would be not this year, maybe another 2 years after that. I'm really done trying to play. I've already won 3 more Masters since then. I'm back. I'm fully playing the game of golf.
Got the record.
I'm like, I'm going for the record. Now I will sunset into this position and I'll be Ryder Cup captain until I pass away in like my 120s.
It's also bad sign that he wasn't around at all for the last Ryder Cup. Or it's like, if he's going to be Ryder Cup captain coming up, he needed to be in there and learning. And to Trent's point about aura, one of the least aura guys to take the helm, Luke Donald. And they're talking about him like he's the best Ryder Cup captain in the history of the event. And I'm not saying I don't like Luke Donald. I love Luke Donald. He's got the wine thing going. He's a very clean-cut, handsome man. He was world number 1, just butter cuts right down the middle, doesn't hit it that far. Chicago guy. I love Luke Donald, but he is not popping at all. He's not a sexy announcement. Go look at our guy, okay? Steve Stricker. Maybe statistically the most dominant Ryder Cup performance ever. United States team set a record. They won by so many. Steve Stricker, not an aura guy. People didn't even know if he was alive going into the Ryder Cup, it felt like.
The least
and then
aura guy
afterwards, everybody's he's up there crying. Everyone's like, this is the best captain we've ever seen. Steve Stricker, Luke Donald, complete opposite end of the spectrum to a Tiger Woods type pick. Those guys are phenomenal captains. I don't know that Tiger would be a great captain, especially right now. So I very much agree with you. Unfortunately, I think that like the PGA of America, and I don't mean this to a slight to Tiger Woods, but like if he takes that job, I couldn't agree with you guys more. He's just going to do it to do it. And a lot of like what you talked about with like, the way that some offices run in politics is like Tiger Woods would be the decision maker, but he wouldn't be the one doing the work or having the knowledge of making those decisions. But he would want to be the one making the final call. So a lot of times what you would get is like the real decision makers who have been grinding, working on it, would make this decision, make that decision. And then unfortunately, at a certain time, it would come to a big decision. And like Tiger Woods with the hammer in TGL, if you watch, he's horrific with it. He just randomly throws the hammer all the time. He's like killing his team with his hammer performance. It would be like that, I think, with the captaincy, or nobody would want to tell him no. They'd be like, oh, yeah, that's it. He would just be making a decision, being like, I'm Tiger Woods. Of course I make the right decision. And it wouldn't be the right one. So I'm hoping he doesn't fucking take it. I'm hoping, like you said, they go back with a Keegan, or they go with somebody. We got to find our own Luke Donald, or we got to bring Steve Stricker back from Wisconsin, get him out of the fucking cheese, and get him in the captaincy. I don't hate that. But yeah, I agree with you. I hope that doesn't end up panning.
We actually got a nice little tidbit from Dewey, our guy Dewey, who was on Sepp Straka's bag. When we were at the Phoenix Open, we asked Dewey about being on a European Ryder Cup winning team, which is hilarious. The guy's from like Aiken. Where's Dewey from? Is he from North Carolina?
Oh. He's a
Pinehurst guy.
He is a Carolinas boy. He won the North-South Amateur at Pinehurst, which Shaq Nicklaus also won, I believe, in like 1992. He is from, where is he actually from? He's from one of the Carolinas. Let me find that out real quick.
We were asking him, like, did you hang stuff up from the European Ryder Cup team?
Well, it's just funny because, like, you know, you hear where he's from, and whatever town it might be, like South Carolina.
How about he's actually, we knew this, but he doesn't live there now, but he's actually from East Hampton, New York.
Oh, no way. That's right.
Remember that? I totally forgot that. He lives now in Morganton, North Carolina.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Dewey was a Hamptons guy.
I forgot that too.
Wow. I always forget when people like live in the Hamptons. You know what I mean? Like, especially like, it's just so strange to me. Like, it's right there, but it seems like such a fake place. Wow, East Hampton. That's right. But Dewey being an American guy, he's Dewey. He's walking around with his calves. He was on Kevin Kisner's bag forever, Sepp Straka's bag. And then him winning European Ryder Cups is so funny to us. Like, that's just makes no sense because he's an American. The guy's a proud American, right? Like, it's just very strange. And so we were asking him, like, you know, are you proudly displaying these things? Like, do you have European Ryder Cup stuff
in your house?
He goes, absolutely. He goes, I'm so honored to be on that team. And he goes into a little bit of storytelling with us where he was saying, like, the reason why it's so different, and not necessarily it's not like he was slighting the United States team by saying this, because I don't think he knows necessarily exactly what they were doing, but he made it a point to tell us that Luke Donald, like, included every caddy and the caddy's wife in everything that they did, which then made the caddy feel like he was part of the team, the caddy's wife feel like they were part of the team, the player that the caddy was working for feel like they were all in a collective unit, as opposed to probably the United States may have been more, maybe it was just the players, or maybe like the caddy was invited, but like the wife wasn't as, so like, I guess just Dewey was saying it really felt like a family, and he could tell from the get-go that there was something different about that team. And then he told the story about how Luke Donald's wife had met Dewey's wife for a split second, like during introductions when they all had gotten
welcoming him to the hotel.
Yeah, welcoming him to the hotel when they get to Bethpage. And then throughout the round, Luke Donald's wife coming up to Dewey's wife, saying her name, hugging her, like being part of the team, and Dewey's wife going up to Dewey being like, can you believe Luke Donald and his wife like just did that? Like, I feel like somebody now, and that just gets everyone's spirits up. So I thought that was a cool insight into just like how family oriented that team was. And again, I don't think that's a slight. I'm sure the United States team, I saw the wives at Bethpage, they were all like a collective unit on the golf carts. They're all hugging the players. So I'm sure that they had their own thing going on, but it was cool to hear that little insight from Dewey about just how close they were. And that's Luke Donald being the kind of guy that he is. And he really was being straightforward with the caddies, being like, you're a part of this team. Like, this is, you're one of us.
All of that stuff adds up, all of it. And I know we kind of scoffed at Rory when he was like, I got a Ryder Cup number, the number of the player that I am in the long lineage of European Ryder Cup players. Like, all individually, when you pull them out, you're like, that could be just a story he's telling because they won and they get to control the narrative.
Shampoo. Remember, they put their own shampoo in the fucking showers and stuff.
Right. You pull each of those individually and you look at it and you're like, that's kind of dumb. And you are probably just saying it because you won at Bethpage.
We're just jealous, man.
And you get to be mean to us and control the narrative. But I think you put all those in a pile, add them together. I think you really got something. I think that is at least part of the difference.
Staying in like one of the best hotels in Garden City, one of the nicest towns on Long Island. They're like, oh, the light was coming in through the bottom of the door.
And they
so
like
we were,
brought their own door frames, dude,
Yeah,
to
they
like
had to build
keep
their
the
own
light
door
out of the
frames.
room.
putting towels down to stop the light from coming in.
That's why you make more putts. But I mean, we're just jealous. That's really what it comes down to. But yeah, I remember Dewey was saying too, just he's like little stuff, like when he had played in a couple of US teams, he just like the little part about feeling bad about trying to get like the caddy, trying to get some merch or some Team USA gear for like their wives. And he's like, you feel weird like asking. He was like, when we showed up for Team Europe, like they had my entire family decked out. And he's like, not only am I not a player, he's like, I'm a caddy. And not only am I just a caddy, but like I'm a caddy from like America. And not only are like my wife and them not players, like they're one of the caddy from America's wife and kids. And they had all the merch laid out and decked out and made sure they were comfortable and head to toe. So again, it's not necessarily the shampoo or the door frames or the merchandise for Dewey's wife, but like all of it does add up to being a family. And it was good, like really good insight. And I don't know that Tiger Woods is going to have that level of loving touch for everyone. That just might make the difference between two pretty evenly matched teams. Playing better golf, man, it's the coolest thing in the world. I think playing good, solid golf is the most fun experience in the world, especially when you're out at a nice course. We're going to be at Pebble Beach for the Dalke Classic in a week from now. I would love nothing more than to play well out there at those iconic golf courses. Skills is going to help you do that. You're not just going to magically get better, folks. I know you're sitting around your home. It's tough. A lot of places it's cold right now. It's winter. There's snow on the ground. It's difficult to get out to a driving range or impossible. That's why we teamed up, Barstool Golf and Fore teamed up with Skills to work on training aids with people who actually know training. We've got the hinge trainer, the swing guide trainer, chipping net, putting mat, putting mirror, and a bunch of other great trainers with the folks at Skills.
You got to practice with a purpose. You got to practice with the right stuff. A lot of us play this game of golf and we just go out there and try and get the ball in the hole. We don't think about, are we doing it the right way? We have bad habits. We go into slumps. These are things and these are training aids that are going to help you hit the ball better. You spend a lot of money, a lot of time playing this game. Spend a little bit of money on doing it the right way. And you don't need to go get lessons. You don't need to go do all these things. Like these are easy, quick training pieces of equipment that you can put on your golf club, put on your hand, put around your body, whatever it might be, throw it on the floor, that you can do at your own house. You can do it in your garage, you can do it in your backyard, and it just gets you into the right place. It's all about finding that muscle memory, going into the right position, whether it be the swing path, whether it be the putting stroke, whether it be keeping your arms aligned, your hand. It's just, I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to go into this year with the right mindset and the right technique, and let Skills be the one that takes you there.
Absolutely. These are awesome. That's why we work hard with them. We chat with these guys frequently, make sure that they've got, if there's something new that we think is hot, helpful, good, we work with them to get it branded, get it in the stores. Make sure you can head to golfgalaxy.com/barstool. You can go to a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport or Golf Galaxy location near you. Foreplay and Skills, train smarter, play better. Closest to the pin, gentlemen. Are you guys ready for this?
Whoa.
Yeah, we're going to
right.
shift. We're shifting the vibe here a little bit. I have brought closest to the pin today. It's my first time this year bringing it closest to the pin. Mr. Ryan Richson prepared me. Richson, can we get ourselves a little update on the latest standings and the results from last week?
Yeah, so the current standings are Trent leads with 7, Frankie has 4, Riggs has 3, and I have 2. The categories from last week were the USA preliminary goals in their 3 preliminary games. They scored 16, and Riggs was the closest with 15. And
Wow.
Trent had 9, Frankie 11, I had 18. So Riggs won
Come
there.
on, man.
Shout out to Brock Nelson, by the way.
Shout out to Brock Nelson. Just took
awesome.
over the United States team in that first game, an assist in the second game. He's going to be wearing a bubble today, actually, as we're recording this. They're playing Sweden in our quarterfinals game. He's gonna be wearing a bubble. The guy had a little bit of an injury on his cheek. I think he took a stick to the cheek, so he'll be wearing a bubble for the rest of the tournament. But yes, United States, huge game today as we're recording this.
So this is now, it's a lose and you're done situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next was the ending time of the Daytona 500. So Frankie had us he had me, I guess, freaked out about the rain. So it ended at 5:41 p.m.
That's right. Yeah, 5:41 is right. I mean, it went off. They actually went earlier, so like it was completely different than what we thought.
Oh,
They went an
right.
hour earlier because, dude, as we got on the highway to go back to Jacksonville, downpour rain. So I'm talking like maybe 30 minutes after that car went across the checkered line, like ending the whole entire night type rain. So
They nailed it.
It held off just a little bit, thankfully for Don. But I mean, our guesses had to have been all over the place.
Yeah, you guys were all around like the 8:30, 8 o'clock range. Trent won with 7:48 p.m., so he was the closest.
There you go,
And
Trent.
then I was way off.
Well
I had 12:07 a.m., Riggs 8:47, Frankie 8:05. So
Yeah,
Trent got the point there.
We got spooked there.
Kind of a pathetic win for me, but I'm going to take it.
It's okay. A win nonetheless.
Yeah, win's a win.
That's right.
The next one was, will there be a hole-in-one at 7 at Pebble? And there was not a hole-in-one. So Frankie and I both got 2 points.
Fucked on the Keith
Dude.
Mitchell one.
Yeah, Keith Mitchell came
completely
close.
hosed us.
If you watch, I mean, they were showing all of the coverage. Keith Mitchell came close. There were like 8 guys that hit the pin. They hit it past the hole, spun it back, and it just never went in the hole. I saw probably 10 clips like that. That's fucked.
Some would
That's
say
a huge
the
win.
four-play curse.
Yeah, I feel it. Damn it.
All right. And then the last one was Scotty's total score to par on the 6th hole at Pebble. So he played it 3 times because I think he played Spyglass Hill one day. So he went eagle, birdie, par for -3. And Riggs and I said -4, and Frankie and Trent were on the dot at -3. So 2 points each for Frankie and Trent.
That fucking hurts a lot, man.
I always forget
That
they play,
eagle,
they
man.
play,
That
they play
eagle on
Spyglass
Sunday
every
is
year.
massive.
Wow. Okay. Huge.
Massive.
All right. So that brings our current standings. Trent's still at the top with 10. Frankie, a big jump. He is at 8 now. Riggs and I at 4.
Come on.
Starting to hear footsteps.
I know. Okay. This week's closest to the pin, gentlemen. We're going to start with a couple from Riviera. Of course, this is a golf show. We're going to talk about the Genesis Invitational hosted by Tiger Woods at the famed Riviera. A lot of golf course aficionados would say this is the best course that they play on the PGA Tour all year long. First one, 10th hole at Riviera is maybe the best short par 4 on tour, maybe in the entire world. It's an awesome hole. It's the one where Max Homa hit it up against the tree in the playoff with, I think, Tony Finau that year. Had an amazing chip shot from there. But you see all kinds of stuff. You're going to see clips of people playing ping pong back and forth across the screen. Pretty much everybody's going to try to drive it. So I tried to come up with something interesting, and I did. The featured group on Friday, the featured group of Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, and Tommy Fleetwood. They have an afternoon tee time, Eastern time, so they should be going in to the 10th hole around 5 p.m. Eastern or so.
Okay.
What will the combined score be on Friday on the 10th hole at Riviera between those 3 players of Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, and Tommy Fleetwood? You could give me a score to par.
Okay.
You can give me a score to par.
I know for a fact, and I've never played Riviera. I would love to. So if somebody wants to get us out there, we would love to play it. I would make 16 on the 10th hole. I just know I'd be in those bunkers next to the green. Like it's a short par 4. It's no problem. I would be, like you said, ping-ponging back and forth between those bunkers. No doubt about it.
Dude, and nobody could keep the ball on the green from those fucking bunkers. It's like the best players on the planet. You see them chip out sideways.
So Frankie went with -2. Riggs said even. Trent also -2. And I went -3.
You can get scores in a multitude of ways on that hole. Like we could have one guy drive the green, make an eagle, 2 pars. Like I feel good about 2 under. I really do.
Next one, also Riviera focused. Pretty simple one here. What will the winning score be to par? There's been a lot of rain, a ton of rain this week. I think the weekend's actually supposed to be fine, it looks like, for the most part. Just for context, because I looked it up. The last 5 years, it was 17 under, 17 under, 19 under, 12 under, and 11 under. I believe those were conditions based. So since there's rain, you could factor that into your own scoring.
All right, so Frankie went 18 under, Riggs 15 under, Trent 19 under, and I went 22 under. Going low out there.
You guys are rooting for low scores. Fair. You guys not rooting for the golf course. Okay. I know Frankie's getting into he's getting into more political history type stuff lately, which I really like. Tuesday of next week, we have the 2026 State of the Union Address.
Wow.
Okay.
Question is, how long in hours and minutes will Donald Trump, President Donald J. Trump's State of the Union Address be? For quick context, he set a record last year.
Yeah.
An all-time record of his speech was just over an hour and 40 minutes long. Just quick context, George W. Bush never went over an hour, and Trump's, this will be whatever his fifth one, because I don't think they do one when they're on inauguration years, but he averages around an hour and 20 minutes or so. I mean, sometimes it's an hour and 10. Last year was an hour and 40. How long will Donald Trump's State of the Union address be on Tuesday night?
An hour and 40 minutes is a long time.
Dude, it was forever last year.
Riggs went an hour 29, Frankie an hour 22, Trent an hour 11, and I went an hour 33. He's gonna ramble.
Wow.
I think he is known to ramble, but I think we're gonna get a shorter one this year. I think.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of thinking his team's gonna talk to him and be like, look, we gotta tighten things up going into this year, but I don't know if that really matters.
No.
I feel like he likes to hear himself talk though. Like they can tell him that.
Oh yeah.
He's just gonna keep going.
There's just as good of a chance we get a 2 hour and 17 minute speech. Like it really could be anything. Yeah.
Then the claps are always. Is that included in the length of speech? Obviously, right?
That's included.
Yeah,
that's included.
I mean, some of those claps go on for fucking 20 minutes. It's crazy.
And I feel like you get all of the Republican members of Congress know that Trump loves to be applauded, so they overdo it. They're everything he says is that's my guy. Oh yeah,
I do. I mean, the politics behind the State of the Union address is so outrageous. He'll say something so humanely, obviously good. We have this person that is here today, and she whatever was a victim of whatever. Please stand, and let's all and the Democrats won't stand for that. You know what I mean? And the other way around when it's a Democratic president. It's so outrageous. The whole night is just the standing on one side, the sitting on the other. So preposterous. So let the guy speak. I don't understand what's the history behind the freaking State of the Union address with all of that. Just team. That's my team. That's it. That's all they care about.
It's gotten crazy now, but if you think about it, back in the day, dude, it's constitutionally required that the president give a State of the Union, because I believe, you got to take yourself back, but if you're thinking early 1800s, dude, nobody had any idea what the State of the fucking Union was. They'd be we got to hear from Mr. Adams here. What's going on? We got no internet. We got no fucking paper. We don't know what the hell's happening. Tell us what's up, Mr. President. He'd come out there for 20 minutes and be like, here's the deal, everybody. And then they'd post that shit in the paper. People would read it and be like, all right, that's interesting.
It is so funny at the State of the our presidents tweet now. So it's we get so much information. We know stuff before people inside the White House probably know it now.
Oh, dude,
from
for
random
sure.
Twitter accounts, Raw's alert or whatever. They're we're seeing everything. So there is no State of the Union. We know it,
No, totally. And it's crazy, the politicization of it too. When you look at they would have to, they have to go to I don't know that each administration's different, but they go to the State Department and show them the 2 paragraphs that are going to be, about a certain issue that relates to the State Department. Then the State Department would have to vet the language and be nope, we'd really prefer if the president, flipped these 2 sentences and didn't use this strong a language here. And then They go back, like they do that for months leading up to the speech. Nuts. It's nuts. All right. Final one, and then we are done. The final event of the entire Olympics is the gold medal men's ice hockey game on Sunday evening. We, of course, don't know who will be in that game yet, unfortunately. So I'm going to go strictly, what will the total goals scored be in the sort of the crescendo, the highlight, the big event of the conclusion of the Olympics in 2026.
Preposterous that it's at 8:35 in the morning. Like for Riggs, you'll be watching that at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday.
Isn't that insane?
Why? There's nothing else going. Like why can't that? Why is the game 3 p.m. local time? Make that 7 o'clock. There must be some reason. I don't know.
I think it's closing ceremonies.
Oh, that night.
Closing ceremonies. I think everybody's got to be ready for the closing ceremonies, which is, dude, I want to say when the game went to overtime in 2010, the golden goal, which I was playing golf with Ryan Miller the other day, by the way, who that goal was scored again on Ryan Miller. But, I think they were all like really late to the closing ceremonies because that game went to overtime. So like it kicked off the closing ceremonies, which is a big deal, right? Everybody's out there in their gear and they got the torch, and the torch gets, didn't they have Tom Cruise do it a couple years ago? So I would guess that's the reason, but still, it's quite annoying.
I've been loving the 3 p.m. start. I didn't, I'm not a hockey guy, and I didn't know what time these were going to start. Having it be 3 p.m. has been amazing. You can watch all of them.
I know.
Brock Nelson.
I know the game's at like 1.
I don't think I talked about this in the last show, but I had that tweet where I sent out because I had actually talked with Brock about his jersey number that he was going to be picking, because he was 29 for the New York Islanders, and then now he's number 11. I think Nathan McKinnon's 29, so that was never going to happen with the Colorado Avalanche. So he's number 11, and I'm like, how'd you get to number 11? He's like 2 + 9 = 11, Frank. So I said, okay, and that's his number. So I said, what are you going with your USA jersey? And we got to talking about the history of his family. Brock Nelson's grandfather was on the 1960 gold medal team. His name was Bill Christian, one of the best players on the gold medal team. His brother was on the team, Bill Christian's brother. So he had his great uncle and his grandfather. Then his uncle, Dave Christian, was on the 1980 gold team, the Miracle team, of course. And if you've watched that documentary, he's a huge part of that team. Brock's mother, when she was younger, and Brock's grandmother started the Let's Go USA chant that got the whole entire crowd in Lake Placid going as the players came out into the ice, because it was like this nervous energy that they were about to play the Russians. And everyone was quiet, and you had these pros there, and you had a bunch of these ragtag kids for the United States playing. And all of a sudden, the Christians family, which is Brock's mom's side, just started screaming USA, USA, and the whole crowd got into it. It's as cool as it gets. And now Brock Nelson on the 2026 American team. So 3 generations of the same family all wearing it. Bill Christian was number 6. Dave Christian was number 23. You add 6 + 23, you equal Brock Nelson's number 29. So 3rd generation, both jerseys leading up to his. I mean, it's written in the stars. If we win gold, man, if the United States wins gold, you've got 3 generations of Nelsons and Christians who are winning. Those are the 3. Dude, we haven't won gold since 1980. Like, that would be so preposterous that Brock brought gold back to the United States. And he's playing so well. So many people debated if he should be on the team. He's the best guy ever. He really is. Like, I'm looking through all my old Brock Nelson tweets, and there's one that during COVID, he put on his Instagram, like, shout out to Borelli's restaurant. He had a pizza box. Shout out to Borelli's for helping feed the local community while everything's shut down. He like put it on his Instagram, had like 3 likes. I'm like, this guy is just like the nicest guy of all time. He'll do anything for friends. He'll do anything for his team. I miss him dearly on the Islanders. So yes, I hope that they freaking win gold, because what a story that would be, man. What a freaking story.
I hope they do too. They might be out today. To be honest, they got to play Sweden today.
I know Sweden's the whole system is bullshit. Like, they played all those preliminary games for no reason. No one got eliminated, so it's like it makes no sense. Like,
what do you mean no one got eliminated?
Like, I think it's just all for seeding. It's all seeding. So like
none of the top teams got eliminated.
None of the top teams get eliminated. So like, you're always going to play against the hardest teams in those qualifying in those in those
Gotcha.
games. Like there was no, you know what I mean? Like might as
Yeah.
well just start it with the top 6 teams and whatever.
All right. So total goals scored in the gold medal hockey game on Sunday. Frankie went 5, Trent 6, Riggs 7. I went 3. Little defensive battle.
Wow. Love that.
All right.
I'm rooting for goals, man. I'm rooting for goals.
God. Canada's good too. That would be a hell of a game.
Is there anybody playing on these top seeded teams that isn't an NHL player?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I
Sweden
just wasn't sure if it was just full of, if there's just one guy out there like, holy fuck, dude, I'm not like a.
I mean, Sweden has a bunch. I mean, like the Czech team has a bunch of guys that they just played. Like, you know, they got a couple
U.S. and
NHLers,
Canada,
but-
no, but the other
Yeah.
teams, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think Sweden. Does Sweden have some? They probably got some prospects and stuff, I would guess.
I think they have some guys that play in that like Swedish professional league. I mean, I would be stunned if the whole entire team was filled with NHL players, but I definitely know like the Czechs have a lot of guys that like, there's one guy that like leads the KHL in goals, and he's like on the Czech team. He was playing on Palat's line and Pasternak's line. It's like, this guy just doesn't play in the NHL, and he was out there ripping goals. I'm like, that's so interesting that this guy is just, he's like a European star.
That's what I was thinking. It'd be strange to be out there, but it's cool. Really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I remember when I in college, we had a kid on our team who was mostly like American, but he had one of his parents, I believe, was like German, and he had played in the World Juniors for Germany, which is sick, and they got like dusted. But he was like played in the World Juniors. He's out there,
Sick.
you know, he was out there at that time. He's probably playing against like Sidney Crosby and shit at that time. It's like, oh God. So you get some of that in the Olympics. But yeah, it would be with like the Czechs and like Denmark and those kinds of teams have.
Got it.
I mean, some of those have like almost nobody. I mean, there was for Germany, like Leon Draisaitl was out there just getting chirped by the guys from what was it, like the Kachucks, I think were chirping him pretty hard.
Matthew Tkachuk with it was just such a good chirp to him, because I mean, they obviously beat them in the Stanley Cup Finals, and he's like, always the bridesmaid, Leon, never the bride, eh? And like the way Leon looked, like he like was like, what was that? And then he just got back onto the bench. It's kind of like when Matt Martin that one time was like, the one guy's like, you suck. And then Matt Martin goes, you were in juniors for longer than me, you dumb fuck. And then the guy goes, what? And then Matt Martin just looks at him and goes, go dye your hair. And the guy's like, what? And then like he pushed him and just fucking skated away. Go dye your hair. Was just such a like, what the fuck did that guy just say to me?
That would confuse the hell out of me if somebody said that to me.
Especially Matt Martin's like, well, all right, I'm done with that guy. I'm not gonna fucking fight him.
All right. I think we could throw it to Dalke and Francis at this point. You guys have anything else?
I think that's it, fellas. Yeah, no, it's been a great show. Tiger Woods, always great to talk Tiger Woods, and I can't wait to hear from these guys, Francis and Dalke. We had quite the round of golf a couple months ago at Big Cedar Lodge, so it'd be nice to kind of go through all that, what everyone was feeling, and you know where their lives are at now.
Reminder, Friday at noon, we are going live with the Players Championship Wednesday night hole-in-one event with foreplay. So that is Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We got the Eventbrite link out there. I'm actually on the link right now. It's very simple. But come join us Wednesday night at the Yards, about 3 hours, 6:30 to 9:30, after you go to the Players that day, after you work pretty hard. So make sure you sign up make sure you sign up Friday at noon Eastern. Here's Brad Dalke and Francis Ellis.
All right, fellas, we got the gang back together. Look at us. We got Francis Ellis, we got Brad Dalke, and Trent Ryan on the Foreplay podcast. Great to see you boys. Honestly, the last time I saw you two together, I was blading a ball across the water to lose $1 million from my teammates, and you guys were hoisting trophies and spraying each other with champagne and enjoying the the fruits of your great golf and your labor through one of the greatest golf tournaments that we've all ever been a part of. Boys, how's it been? It's great to see you guys. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so happy to be here. I heard we tried to get Mo on the stream as well, but it turned out that the computer he was using was stolen.
Oh, Francis.
Francis, that still sits with you, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
No?
We won. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
okay.
I don't care.
Now, if we had lost,
I like to make the jokes. I don't think I'll ever stop making jokes about that.
unbelievable. Yeah. Obviously, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Great to see you boys again, and hopefully we can film soon. See each other in person at some point soon. But yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, boys. I mean, I want to get right into, because there's a lot going on in your guys' personal lives. Like, obviously, Francis is now a golf guy. Like, you win the Internet Invitational, people want to see him on the golf course. Brad has been exploding onto the scene, doing now good pros, and he's playing with Sean against all these awesome, in these awesome videos that are coming out now with good, and just like every video with Grant is going absolutely berserk. So, but I want to, before we get into that stuff, I want to just take us back to that 18 hole match at Paynes Valley. I know you guys have talked about it on different shows, but never together. Like, can we just like kind of go through our experience that day and what it all kind of meant? Like, how did you guys feel going into that? You can start wherever you kind of want to. Francis, I don't know if you want to kind of dive into just that whole experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled to talk. I'm thrilled that Brad's here too, because I feel like we probably have very different perspectives on that day, and had different mindsets. I knew I was in a good spot because I had Brad. Like Brad showed up that morning and started like walking us through the holes. And I was like, "Oh, I'm the kid in the group project that didn't have to do any of the work." Like he's done all of it. He's done everything. And then I was on the first tee and I hit my first drive out of bounds. And then immediately I was like, "Oh God, this I can screw us just as much, if not more than anyone." And I was just really terrified, Frankie, the whole time. I don't think I ever really like felt comfortable that day, which is so weird because in the par 3 I felt really confident, and you could argue that the stakes were high, in some ways higher on the par 3 because we were playing stroke play and there was water everywhere. Like, I don't know. But as soon as we got to the finals, like my nerves just overwhelmed me and I was barely holding on.
I was gonna say that par 3 was outrageously tight. Like, no matter if someone made one mistake, that shot that Brad had to hit on that one over the water when you guys had already put one in the water, he was hitting
No, that was
3,
me.
right? That
I
was
hit it.
you that hit that.
That was
Yeah.
Francis. Yeah.
And then did
That
Brad make the putt?
Brad made
I
the
made the
putt.
putt. Yeah.
Like that held you guys on by a thread, and then you didn't miss a shot from there. Beef, obviously, it's hard to even talk about the Internet Invitation without bringing up how important Beef was, and anything that we've done leading up to this point, how important he was for the whole entire event and our brand specifically. So I'm always thinking about him, and obviously your guys' partner, and he hit some unbelievably huge shots, and that par 3 was. I was sitting there in the cart with Paige saying, we're going to walk through, like, if we can get rid of Brad in this part, that you guys were out of it at one point. Like, what was it
Yeah.
about after that shot? Like, did you guys get together as a group being like, all right, now, like, we've just proven that we can do this. And like, we know as a team that we can advance. Was there something that like changed that you guys felt in that moment? Because as a competitor against you guys, I'm like, oh shit, they just woke up.
Yeah. I think I mean, yeah, that was the biggest grind ever, which is like another reason why, I mean, after the par 3, whenever Dave made that offer, it's like we just went through like the back 9 of that par 3, like 2 hours straight of just grinding our butts off. We're not going to risk it all with like basically one shot. And it was just, I think it was honestly that hole you were talking about. I think that was number 9, maybe or 10. Whenever Beef hit it in the water, Francis stepped up and hit a great shot. I made the putt, and then I think we missed like 5 greens in a row, and we didn't
Yeah.
make a bogey. Like we just kept getting up and down. We weren't none of us like, Beef started off slow, and me and Francis think did a really good job. We were very intentional on just like making sure we were picking them up, because alternate shot, stroke play, it's like we need every single teammate. We need every person to be in the game. Maybe not playing. You don't have to play great, but just be in the game and keep your head up, and because you never know when we might need Beef to make a 5-footer on the last hole or something. You just never know. And I think that was the biggest thing. Me and Francis were kind of talking a few times during the round in the middle, like, hey, we need to lift Beef up and just make sure he knows that we're behind him. And obviously Beef ended up making like 4 putts on that back nine from like that 4 to 8 foot range that were massive. And then Francis played great on the par three, and we were a great team. I think that's what we're picking each other up, just being really positive with each other. If one of us hit a bad shot, the next person stepped up and saved him, and that was huge. I knew if we got through the par three portion of it, we were gonna have a chance on that full 18 hole final at Paynes. Um, but the par three, we knew it was gonna be a grind, and we got to a slow start, but just kind of kept hanging in there. We knew that at any given point, a team could make a triple or a quad, maybe even with how tough that course was. So we just kind of made it a point just to keep grinding away, keep ourselves in it, and luckily it all worked out.
If you go back and watch that stretch of all those holes where we scrambled to make pars, it truly is on an almost even sort of spread of like one guy hits a non-ideal shot and then the other two work together to solve it. And it included Brad hit a tee shot over the green, I remember, on one of those holes,
Hmm.
and then Beef hit this nice putt up the collar, and then I made like a 4 foot slider. And it's like Beef and I looked at each other and we were like, boy, Brad's really doing what he can to fuck this up for us, and we kind of need to be on our game here. But and then like I hit one
Well,
in the sand on that really far downhill one, and then Brad hit like a bunker shot, and Beef made like a 12-footer. Like it was just everybody kind of taking turns to solve a non-ideal shot that one of us had hit.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll say. I mean, after the Invitational, the comments, people, I did some other podcasts as well. Like people were saying, Brad carried this team and all that, and I'm like, it was alternate shot. Both that whole day was alternate shot. It's like, did I go play really well? Yeah, but like if Francis and Beef didn't step up and make some huge putts, make some like Francis hit one of the best chip shots I've ever seen on that par three course. Like, did I play well? Sure, but they, it wasn't. I couldn't just do it by myself. Like Francis and Beef stepped up and hit a lot of really good shots, made some really clutch putts when they mattered. Um, and so there was no by no means me carrying the team. Like it wasn't a scramble where I could just kind of take over or anything like that. Like it was alternate shot. Francis and Beef did a great job of Beef, like I said, that back nine of the par three course made like 4 huge putts. Francis hit some insane chips and hit that one shot on what was it, like 16 or 17 on the par three to like 2 inches. Like it was a full team effort, and I think I think looking back on the videos too, we had such good team camaraderie too. I think, like I said, we were just picking each other up, trying to make sure everyone was in the game, and honestly, the whole day is something I'll never forget. And I think like I have Francis as a friend for a lifetime just from that one day of playing golf with him. And that's kind of honestly one of the coolest things about the whole event was kind of the friends we made along the way, and I think it was such a good day.
and sharing $1 million is definitely something that's
That
nice
that
too.
helps too. But
Yeah, you talk about the chemistry. I mean, you had me, Brad, and Beef. You had three strapping whites, and then Frankie, unfortunately, had basically his team looked like the cover of a private school pamphlet. Just diverse as all hell, and they weren't even talking to each other. That's tough. That's tough to overcome.
No, we had a lot of things. We had a lot of adversity on our side, that's for sure. And you brought up, so we can go to the 18-hole match at Paynes Valley, the final match that we all kind of advanced to. And Francis, you alluded to being extremely nervous and hitting the ball out of bounds on one. And I've publicly, for months now, obviously since the event has gone live, have been very honest about how I just couldn't overcome my nerves the whole entire day. And it's something that really opened my eyes to what the pro golfers feel. You see guys like Rory McIlroy missing 3-foot putts to lose US Opens, and you're like, how could that possibly happen to someone that is that good? And you don't realize that like the human body can only withstand so much pressure and anxiety before it just starts to like do weird things. And like I was feeling my heartbeat in my throat. Like I at one point on the 18th hole when I was and this is I'm jumping all around, but like just to talk about the anxiety, like the ball was bouncing when I was looking at it. And like, I've never, I was like, I looked around like, am I drunk right now? Like I couldn't fathom. I was hitting a golf ball that was moving. So it's like, I'm either going to die here right now on the tee box or I'm going to hit the ball. Like there was, to me, I was having a real physical health problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what was happening to me in that round. Like Brad, like I understand that you're unbelievably good at the game. And like like when you're at your best, when you're playing golf, you're at your best. That's like what the top people in this sport do, right? Like, what did you feel out there though? Like I know that it's a comfort spot for you as the golf course. Did you feel those nerves similar to how we did, where you had those doubts creep in?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've said this. I said it right after we finished, but I mean, like that tee shot in 18, I was just as nervous for that tee shot as I was like on the first tee at Augusta, like on Thursday. Like I was shaking like a leaf. I was nervous. I thought about hitting 2 iron just to make sure we got something in play. Then I was like, no, screw that. I'm hitting the driver so good. I'm just trusting it. Um, but no, I felt all the nerves. I think where I excelled and like where I had the advantage on everyone really was that I've felt that a lot before. Um, Augusta, US Open, National Championship, played a PGA Tour tournament when I was a freshman in college. Like I've felt those nerves, like those types of nerves quite a bit. And I think that's where I just have that a little bit more experience of knowing how my body like reacts in those situations. Like for you, like next time you are in a situation like that, I think you'll probably you probably don't know exactly now like what you'll do then, but you'll know what your body will feel like more in that situation. Like you've never felt that before. Francis had never felt those types of nerves before. Beef hadn't, you know, nobody really had, but luckily I was the only one that had kind of felt that before. So I just knew what my body would kind of tend to do, like with my swing. I'd probably start walking a little faster, so I try to like slow myself down a little bit, slow the heart rate down. I think that's just it's just luckily for me, I had some experience in that situation before. I still feel all the nerves, like it's my knees are shaking, my hands are shaking, million thoughts going in my head. And that's where one thing, like I knew Francis and Beef hadn't felt those before, and I knew that down the stretch, it was going to be asking a lot for them to go up there and step up and hit really good shots like those last 6 holes. And that's where, with all the rules controversy and all that, when it happened on, 10 and 11, 12, I tried staying out of it as much as I could just because I was like, look, I know Francis and Beef need me and, this back nine. Because like I said, I have had that experience before. I was like, I just need to stay out of this and just focus on my game, focus on what I'm doing and make sure I am fully prepared for this back nine of golf.
Dude, you like if you look at Frankie, you talk about the ball bouncing. There's a moment where I think it's where Brad and I are talking about the putt that Mo gave us on 15, where
Oh,
I'm shocked that he gave us the putt. And then you
Yeah.
see me go like this. I go, I was having a very hard time breathing.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Like I when I was a
Yeah.
kid, I had really bad asthma, and I used to have to do that breathing machine with the mask every night for like 45 minutes to get those steroids into my lungs. And my asthma's been something that like I've dealt with my whole life, but like it's definitely triggered by anxiety a little. And we were on that 15th hole, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish the round. Like I can't get a breath into my lungs was how I felt.
well, you guys started to kind of show some. We felt blood in the water. We saw blood in the water. We tasted it. We could smell it on like that 15th, 16th, 17th. We started to look at each other, even though we had just gone through the most drama you could possibly go through on a golf course. We somehow collected ourselves. I mean, Paige, for all the things that she had went through, I got to give her a little bit of credit. Like a lot of credit, to be honest. She was hitting golf shots while essentially weeping, and she didn't miss a golf shot. Like we just continued to power forward and move forward and hit shots and stay in that match. And I think as it got later and as we still didn't die off, um, you could see that you guys started to turn a little bit more closer to like to where I was at, where it was like, oh man, they're hitting human shots now. Like now they're hitting balls. Like even Brad put one into the shit, and then of course I responded by putting one to the shit. And Beef had bladed one over the green, and then like I hit one inside. Brad missed the green. I hit one inside Brad on 17. Like things just started to happen where you could see like the human nature of just being nervous really does have an effect on the game. And like it, you know, it was interesting to be a part of. It was like an interesting world to step into for 4 or 5 hours to just see like what that's like when someone just hangs that much money over your head, how much that can affect your body, your mind, everything that you're thinking about, how you're walking, you're thinking about the steps you're taking. Like, do I look like, you know what I mean? Like every aspect, you can hear your heartbeat inside your body. It's so bizarre. Is it not? Like, it's just a very, very bizarre experience that I'm very grateful to be a part of, but like something I never thought that I would feel ever in a million years.
Dude, I think about like Brad's talking about how, you know, it's the experiencing that feeling multiple times that has made it so he's more capable of managing it. I've thought to myself, okay, next year's Internet Invitational comes down to 18 and I'm in the exact same spot. Will I benefit from having been there before? I don't think I will at all. I think I will feel exactly as
Same.
nervous, and I will be like, well, we got lucky last time. This year it'll be exact a blank slate of terror again.
Francis, you say that. Imagine I have a chip again. Everyone's like, oh, you've been there. You should be able to. Like, now I'll just think the last time I was in this position, I skull fucked this thing into the water. Of course I'm going to do it again.
It's worse for you. I do agree. But when Brad hit that perfect drive on 18, what I struggled with a lot was when it felt like it was ours to lose. That was when I really started to tighten up. When it was even or we were down one, I was still hitting decent shots. I hit 2 drives on Paynes Valley that were like right down the middle, and good drives. And you know, early, that was like when you guys were up a hole or we were tied. When it got to the point where we were up 2 holes after 15 and I had to tee off on 16, I just remember feeling the club and being like, I have no control over my swing right now. And on 18, when Brad hit the perfect drive and you guys were on the right and then Mo punched one out, knowing that Paige was stepping up and she'd been so good, and I had bunkers on the front right and water long and water left, and Beef was coming after me. I remember getting out of the golf cart, and for a second I thought, there is nothing in the world I want to do less than hit this golf ball right now.
Yeah.
Like, why me? Why am I the one that has to do this right now? This makes no sense.
I can't believe it didn't go in the water, to be honest. I really
It was
can't.
so lucky. I hit it, and I was so sure when I hit it that it was going out of bounds or in the water. I didn't even know that bunker was there. And it was just like almost because I was so nervous that I hit it so bad. I had like 185 and I hit a 7-iron like 160 yards. And it was because I hit it so badly that we were okay. It was very lucky.
Yeah, it was one for the ages, guys, and obviously all the drama that ensued, like it's been talked about a million times. We've had our own pieces on it, and we've all kind of said it so much that it's old news at this point. But I mean, I'd be remiss to not bring it up with you guys here. It's like from your guys' vantage point, what was the decision in bringing that to light? Because I know you guys had a conversation. We saw it on the video. People coming up to Brad, people coming up to Francis, like what kind of went into that decision of bringing it up and like making it more public, and then for Francis bringing it up to Paige, which then started the whole entire, circus.
I think for me, Peter obviously came up and let me know kind of what was going on. And obviously I didn't see it happen, at the time, but I trusted Peter, and that kind of just made me. I wanted to tell Francis. Obviously, it didn't change the outcome of that hole, And I think I told Francis that. I'm like, hey, dude, look, it's, we still won the hole. Everything's good. Maybe we just keep an eye out for them. Maybe the rest of the round. I don't know. Maybe just kind of keep an eye out. And I could tell it was eating at Francis a little bit. I'll let Francis talk on
Francis
that.
is shaking right now.
Oh,
He's just
yeah.
shaking his head.
I'll let
The
Francis
minute
talk on
Brad
that
told me
part.
there was no way that wasn't gonna become a fucking thing. There was no way.
I will say this. I told Francis, and I told him, I said, hey, look, we won the hole. It doesn't necessarily matter on that hole. Like, we already won it. It's fine. And at first, Francis was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's all good. It's all good. And then I go hit, or no, I forget who. Francis hits a tee shot on 10, and then he gets back in the car, and I can visibly, like, he wasn't talking, but I knew the conversation he was having in his head. You could like he was making like facial, like he's almost making facial expressions like to himself as he's talking to himself, and then I mean, on my end, he's literally like 2 minutes later just kind of snapped as we got done driving the car. He's like, I got to tell someone. So he can tell you what that conversation was going on in his head. I obviously can't speak on that, but
Well, what I wanted to ask, because I've wanted to ask Francis this, and we haven't talked too much since the event. And I was there. I was in the Internet Invitational. I was eliminated almost as soon as I got off the plane in Missouri. Like, I was nowhere near where you guys were in terms of level of nerves or anything. But like, because I've seen Francis in this mode before, where he's got something he wants to talk about, and he makes a decision to either go with it or to keep it to himself. Francis, did you know? Like, did you say it because you just had to get it off your chest, or did you know what sort of cascade was going to happen once it was told?
Um, it's such a good question, and it's gonna sound cowardly, but I don't know that I know. I can't remember. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was everything. So it was like this perfect storm, right? Where Paige had mocked me on the first hole about not knowing the rules of professional, like I've never played competitive golf, blah, blah, blah. So, like,
Right.
I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder towards her from that moment. And the fact that it was like Peter, who was just, one of the more trusted, like, moral authority on golf, and then shared it to Brad, and Brad shared it to me. These are two guys that, like, I look up to and would defer to immediately if anything regarding golf. And that Brad said it to me, it's almost like I, I mean, I'm the guy that's going to light the match if there's a match to be lit. And I think that initially I was like, okay, Brad's right. Like, we won the hole. Let's not say anything. Let's not turn this into a mess. And then I started hearing Paige mock me in my head. And I think that, like, pissed me off. And then I think I'm sure that I also thought if there's an advantage to be gained, we should play it. I'm sure. I think I initially tried to tell myself I didn't think that way. But, like, we work at Barstool. I've been here long enough. I know in these games of, like, when we did Survivor or this or that, like, you fight dirty. You fight with whatever you've got. We were 9 holes away from $1 million. And you could argue if the dirty fight, if I started it, well, what Paige did was dirty, whether she knew it or not. You look at the footage, and so it's like, I mean, I just didn't. I got over whatever moral qualms I might have had in a matter of 3 minutes, and went and looked at the camera footage because I wanted to be sure that it was damning. But me doing that was what lit the whole fucking match. And
Right.
then because of that, Joey Cold Cuts brought the slope thing forward, which we didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, no, it was and we've talked on the phone, Francis, about just like, because I was on the other side of that, and I'm on the team that had to deal with a lot of these accusations, and we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. But I've asked you a couple times, like in confidence, like, was that more about just like trying to get under our skin, or and you really turned me on that, where, and even like till to this day, I'm sure you still feel the same way. And that's the only reason why we're bringing it up. I'm not trying to dig up more hate for these people because they don't deserve it, and we've all moved on. The only reason I bring it up is because Francis deserved to be able to say that he felt like someone was trying to cheat him out of $1 million. And when I would, and that's a lot, that's a pretty heavy thing to have to like bear. Like if you're just going to eat that in the golf cart, if you feel truly wrong, and we're out there trying to play the game the right way, and like they're just sitting there, like there's moments to say things and moments not. And he felt that like if he didn't say anything, this was going to come and go, and his chance to win $1 million was going to vanish. If I was in his position, I would have done the same thing. So it's taken me a little bit of time to see that from the other side and from his perspective, but I totally understand it. And it's honestly the right play. And it's the right thing. I think in the end, all of the right stuff ended up happening in that tournament. You know what I mean? Like the right people ended up winning. We obviously got ourselves into situations where we didn't deserve it. There was a lot of shit going on. Who knows with the slope stuff, how long that was going on. Maybe we shouldn't even have gotten to where we got into. So like all in all, it ended up working out. I just wanted to allow Francis to get that off his chest a little bit on like, because I would have done the same exact thing. So
I'll say this. And who knows? This is hypothetical, but I feel pretty confident in saying that if for whatever reason Peter had told Brad that Frankie had been moving the grass, I don't think I would have said anything. Like I would not have. I didn't. Whatever qualms I did have probably came from the fact that you're my friend, and I don't want to screw you out of $1 million. But if you hadn't been on that team, I don't think I would have had any problem at all immediately shouting from the heavens that like cheating allegations had been brought forth.
So you're saying it was the first whole chirp from Paige that sort of maybe you think
Well,
motivated the
I'm
whole
saying
thing?
that maybe that was part of it, but I think it's
Yeah.
more
right.
broadly Frankie's point. I don't think there was a part of me that was like, "Ooh, this will make for good theater." You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think I was like, "Oh, finally, we're going to barstoolify this tournament." I think it was
Right.
like someone broke the rules and we're in sight of $1 million and it's tied. And like
Right.
that's not cool with me.
Yeah, I get it. And listen, like I said, I think the gods freaking worked in the right way. Whatever, the winds blew. My fucking skull fuck happened for a reason, whether you call it, divine intervention or bad technique, whatever it might be. At the end of the day, I should have put it, and I didn't. You guys won the money. And since then, man, like, I mean, that video, that series got so much money, so much views, that people are saying like if you combine all the views, it did more than like the U.S. Open, it does more than the Masters. So many people saw those rounds of golf. Like Brad, what has your life been since winning that? I know you've won other things, you've won other creator classics, and you've won good tournaments, and you've just been raking in the cash, not on the PGA Tour right now. But like, have you seen just like an uptick in just your life on the golf course ever since winning the Internet Invitational?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me and like my personal channel, it's grown like crazy in these last what 4 to 5 months. Um, a lot. I mean, I think even just like day to day, just like people. I mean, y'all have it too, where people stop you in the airport or stop you at Chipotle or whatever it is. A lot of the people that stop me now are like, dude, it was so much fun to watch you in the Internet Invitational. That was so cool, and it's been awesome. I mean, and again, that's a testament to what y'all did, along with Bob Does Sports and putting on the whole thing. Because I know it's not easy to get 48 content creators and golfers in the same spot for 3 or 4 days in a row, and obviously putting that purse up and getting all the sponsors, and it's a huge testament to you guys, and I just still appreciative of y'all putting on that tournament and doing it so well. I mean, I think a format with 48 guys that are all 48 guys and girls that are all different handicaps and hit at different distances and all that, like it's almost impossible to get a format that works, and that worked that week. I mean, I think it was the perfect ending in the way of, like we were talking about earlier, you get to see someone like me handle the nerves, like those types of nerves. You get to see someone like Francis handle those nerves, and you and Paige, and you get to see a whole like just vast array of skills handle that type of pressure. But it's been awesome. I mean, it's been, obviously getting to win the Creator Classic, couple of good things. It's been so much fun. We had a great year. 2025 was awesome. Business was booming, and I just hope,
Generational run for Dalke,
I
man.
just hope we can keep it
Generational
going
run.
into this year. But it was really cool. I just really appreciate you boys for
I
putting that
personally
whole
don't
thing
want to
on.
invite you back to the Internet Invitational. I think it's preposterous you play amongst us. It's fucking a joke. Like, this guy's just gonna come and wipe the floor with us. Like, it's like now we're just into like abuse at this point. But it's so funny, dude. When we did our meetings coming up with the Internet Invitational, every single meeting when we were talking about format involved saying, can you imagine the finale coming down to Brad Dalke needing Jersey Jerry to hit a big golf shot? That was always the comparison.
That was
Every
like
time.
our North Star, yeah.
It was like, could you imagine? Like, and I would sit there all like animated with Dave and Bob and Joey, and I'd be like, guys, like, this is it. Like, Brad Dalke hits the drive. Jersey Jerry needs to step up and hit a shot for him. It's the only way we can figure out the handicap
awesome.
is like bringing in a golfer. And dude, somehow, some way, it was Beef and it was Francis. Like, it ended up exactly how we thought it would. That's not fucking easy to figure. Like, for me, I was in the middle of it and I cried and I called my dad. I said I just bladed it over into the water. But like, once I was removed from all of that, I'm like, we just put on something that you couldn't even. We scripted it prior, and it happened exactly like that. That doesn't happen in the real world. That was fake. That was fantasy. That whole entire thing, obviously, what happened with Beef too. It's like it's all not to be believed. Like, I almost like feel like it didn't happen. That's how outrageous it was.
I have some funny questions for you specifically, Frankie. One is, knowing what you know now, do you think that there would have been a way to make the teams more fair going into the semifinal? Like, do you think that the teams were unfair, that the team with Brad was always going to win? Could you have put him with Josh Richards and, I don't know, someone else or something? Like, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that.
If I'm being honest, I was doing everything I could to end up on Brad's team, selfishly.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
And I truly thought that people were not realizing how good you were hitting the golf ball. I'd played with you the day before.
Yeah.
And we rinsed Riggs. We set his eyes backwards. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we put Riggs back 4 or 5 years. It was like a clean reset. It was a hard reset on Riggsy boy. And like, I knew the golf you were playing. And I'm like, we're going to stick him with fucking Brad. Have you guys all been brainwashed? A paraplegic could be the third person and they would win. This is preposterous.
Yeah.
And now I thought we had a great team too. Don't get me wrong. Like, Paige she stepped on my foot at one point and was like, what are you doing? Like, stop complaining. We got me, you, and Mo. Everyone else has at least one person that is a little bit of like a flyer. Now, they didn't know I was going to be hitting the ball sideways. I was hitting the ball more left than Bernie Sanders all day. Like, you couldn't believe the ball that I was hitting off the tee. Like, I lost every single tee shot. I was whimpering in Brad's fucking shadow. It was crazy. I was like less than a human being at that golf course. And I don't think anyone accounted for that when doing the matchup. But I think there was a part of me that was doing anything I could to attach myself to Mr. Brad Dalke. I don't know that you could, dude. It's such a hard format. It's so much hard. It's so much conversation needs to go into it that I think we're going to probably come up with a new format for that final 12 or whatever it may be. I just don't think like the competitors arguing amongst themselves about what the team should be is the best way to come about that final pairing. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that. I thought that was just like a weird way to do it.
No, I was just going to say the conversation around the pairings at the end, not involving you guys, was that the Mo, Paige, and Frankie team was like too good. And you know, obviously Brad is an incredible golfer. Francis is a very good golfer. Beef he had his moments for sure, but it felt like all the way through in terms of from the first guy to the third guy that the Mo, Frankie, Paige team was. That's why she was stepping on your foot, Frankie, because I think people were arguing like your guys' team is almost too good. And then I just don't think people saw. I mean, it is alternate shot. Everybody has to contribute, but Dalke was lights out that day. So I do think we'll do it differently this next time around because it didn't feel right. I mean, we had all of the drafts and that seemed like it went well, and then there was just sort of this like collection of people arguing about who should be on what team. Didn't feel like the right way to do it. But it ended up, I mean, Dalke again, he was just so good that you guys kind of rose above.
Part of it was difficult because that final day was par 3 course and then full 18 course, like normal course. So like a team like Bubby, Micah, and Lacey, like I think if they had somehow gotten through the par 3 course, then they actually have a pretty good advantage on the full Paynes Valley. So I think it was tough because there were some teams, like I think for our team, I knew it was gonna be a little harder for us to get through the par 3, but if we could, then we'd have a really good chance on the full 18. I thought like Frankie's team, I thought was almost a shoe in to get through the par 3. And it was just a matter of like I still thought y'all had a great team for the full 18, but like maybe we had a little advantage over you on the full Paynes Valley course. So that part was, I think there were some teams that had like, hey, if they can just get through the par 3, they will have a very good chance at Paynes. And there were some teams that had a very good chance getting through on the par 3, and they might struggle a little more just because of distance. It was just a whole pure par 3 course, full 18 is just a lot different golf, and there's a lot different, people have different distances, hit it longer than others, and I think that was one of the tougher parts about kind of trying to decide the most fair teams for that final day.
I also think like you run that back, start to finish from the morning through you could have two completely different teams in the final.
Yeah.
You could have they're just I played well in the par 3. I played terribly in the final. I really did. And I thought Frankie played really well. I mean, even though you hit some bad drives, like your shot on 18, like or 17, was like I know for a fact I would not have been able to hit that shot that you hit. I know that
That's nice.
at that point in the day.
Makes me feel better.
I mean it. Like I couldn't hit an iron at that point. I only hit 3
That's that
good
mindset
shots.
change of like we were on the the offensive at that point, which maybe I play better that way. I think I might probably align myself with you where it's like when the pressure's on and if you mess up you lose. That part to me sucks. But if you lose and you were expected to lose, I could probably play a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just feel like I know how I was hitting irons from my tee shot on 16 and my approach on 18 at that point in the day. Like I was not going to hit an iron within 100 yards of the green. I just couldn't hit the center of the club face at all. And I only hit 3 decent shots in the whole final. I was not good. It just Brad unfucked everything for us.
And Francis, to talk about Brad's year, I mean, you had quite the year as well. Internet Invitational, you're on your second season of Tires. Your comedy career is bigger than it's ever been. Like, what a year 2025 was for you as well.
Yeah, it was great. I had a great year. It was my favorite year probably of my career by a mile, but by far, the crowning achievement was the Internet Invitational. It's not even close. I've never had anything in that magnitude of success or a win in my entire life. Not even close. So, I am super excited to do it again if, provided I'm invited. But I can say that I'm not going to be so greedy as to think I'll get very far. And I fully expect that like once in my lifetime, I will have won the Internet Invitational.
It's an amazing win. It's an amazing, thing to be able to say that you won, and you guys will always be a part of that inaugural championship. We're excited to have you guys back. I can't wait to get back at it. We set it off the top, but Brad's got a lot of things going on. Make sure you go check out that new Good Pros channel, and they've got a lot of awesome videos coming out. So go check them out. Brad's like, I mean, I don't watch much YouTube golf, but I watch like the you versus Grant matches, and like they're just so satisfying to watch. It's amazing coming from our vantage point of YouTube, where like we started doing those like bad golf videos 7-8 years ago, kind of in the beginning of this this secondary media in golf kind of wave, and we saw our market share. It was like, oh, like, all right, there's pros that play Thursday through Sunday, and then there's the guys that can't hit the golf ball that people can relate to. That's what people want to watch on YouTube, and it worked for us for a really long time. And now it's like the Brad Dalkes were the ones that were playing Thursday through Sunday, and now they came into our thing, and now everyone's watching that, where it's like, holy shit, that's what I want to watch now. Like, I sit there and I'm captivated by you guys just dominating golf courses in such a easy and just fluid way. Like, it's just so awesome. You don't even have to respond to that if you don't want to. I know I'm sucking you off dry.
No.
Like, it's just so awesome to be able to see what you're doing. And I think it's such
Appreciate
a great path that you're also, like, you, Sean, like, even, you know, Grant, Garrett, all these guys that had a path to like real golf, and Luke Kwan, like all these guys. And like, you're showing other kids that are growing up, like, this is a path now too. Like, it's not just getting your PGA Tour card and being a top 150 golfer. You don't have to grind. You can try that, but this is now a path. Like, you guys are building that for people. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. All the words. I mean, I'm very grateful for it. My whole life growing up. Luckily, I was, a good junior golfer, a good college golfer, all that, and I always thought I'd be playing golf until I was, 50 years old, doing tour stuff, PGA Tour, Corn Ferry, all that stuff. I just always assumed it. And the fact that I'm still getting to play golf almost every day, and I have no tour status anywhere, and I'm able to make money on it. Like, it's crazy. Like, and I'm getting to play the nicest courses in the world, and I'd never once in my life thought this would happen. Like, where I'm at in life now, playing YouTube golf and playing Internet Invitationals, meeting Dave Portnoy on the first tee at Paynes Valley. Like, I never thought for a million years this would be my life, and I'm just so grateful that all this has happened, that YouTube golf's happened, that it's gone this way. I'm grateful for good for for taking a risk on me and getting me part of the group, and kind of giving me this platform to excel on, and meeting guys like y'all, and throughout this whole process, it's just been, I'm so grateful for it all, and this last, especially the last 5 months or so since the Invitational, but even the last year or so has been a lot of growth for me just in the industry, and now I'm getting to play with the likes of Golden Boy Grant Horvat, and losing to him twice in a row, and all of a sudden now I
Crazy.
have this rivalry with
That's
Grant.
stunning. What
It's
the hell's going
I
on there? That's crazy.
I know. I mean, he played. I mean, I didn't play great, and he played just steady freaking golf, and just kept lurking both matches, and it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if there's anybody to have a rivalry with, it's Grant Horvat
It's
within the
good
YouTube
business
golf
right
space.
now. It's real good business.
So that's good for business, but obviously it ate me up inside. I do not like losing, so I want a rematch on that as soon as possible. But it was long winded, but I'm just super grateful for where I'm at now, and being a part of all this.
Yeah, man. No, and I know you guys have the good PGA Tour event that you guys are doing with which has some sponsor exemptions, and I don't know that you guys have announced anything with that. And if you have, I apologize, but like,
No.
that's got to be exciting. I don't know if you can talk about that, like what's to happen with that, who's gonna be playing in that, but like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if you can answer it. Like, if a sponsor exemption gets into that event and they win it, what happens? Is that a PGA Tour sanctioned win?
Yeah, yeah. So it's fall tour, but I'm pretty sure, or the fall series. I'm pretty sure it's still 2 years of PGA Tour card. I mean, your card for 2 years. I'm pretty sure. Um,
That would
Master.
be
I'm not sure.
insane. If you're in that, that
It'd
would
be
be
crazy.
insane. Like,
Yeah,
you
it'd
could
be it'd
win
be
that.
wild. It'd be nuts. So yeah, me and Sean Walsh are playing the big break here in I think we're filming. I'm not sure when it comes out. We're filming it here in a couple months. But the winner of that gets into the
Oh,
event. So I don't know
awesome.
who else is playing necessarily. So the winner of the big break, which will be airing, I think, in, don't quote me on this, but August or September, sometime in that time frame. Winner of that will get into the big break, and then, or sorry, the winner of the big break will get into the Good Championship, and then we'll see. I don't know for sure if I'm gonna be playing in the tournament. I don't know for sure Sean will be. We don't know definitely yet, but hopefully, I can get a spot in that, and we can play some good golf. And you just never know. I mean,
Wow.
I know if I play good golf, I can give myself a chance. It's just a matter of kind of getting it going at the right time, and timing up, which is pro golf in a lot of ways, just timing up your game at the right times and trying to take advantage of opportunities. So
Well, yeah, man, you guys got a lot going on. I know that this is going to be a busy year for everybody. Francis, thanks for coming on and giving your side, your insight. We can't wait to see. We're going to Ireland with you, so I can't wait for that.
I can't wait.
I can't think of anyone to bring across the pond more than you and to travel with you. It's so exciting because you know so many things about so many different things that, like, you're going to be a tour guide, you're going to be a historian, you're going to be a drinking buddy. It's like, it's going to be a lot for us, but I cannot wait for it. Like, honestly, I'm very, very excited.
Me too.
I'm really honored. I'm so honored that you guys asked me to do that. This will be my first time traveling over the Atlantic in coach, now that Harry has relegated me out of first class. So I'm going to be absolutely wrecked with jet lag the entire trip. I don't know how much talking I'll do, but very, very excited.
Boys, well, we really appreciate it. I know that you gave us more time than we had asked for, so
we're good.
we could wrap it up, and hopefully we can all get together. Brad, we'd love to get a video on the books with you. I know we got to
Yep.
get on the golf course again, so
Yep.
we got to get that going.
100%.
Yeah, we appreciate it, gents.